Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Applause.
Hi.
Applause.
It's a bit quiet, isn't it? Does it sound quiet to you?
A little bit.
No, I think the music was a little bit low, though, but I think it's usually too loud.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
me
does,
too.
does seem a bit
Sounds better,
little
actually.
low. Let's hope it doesn't persist. Right, all right, let's get on with it. Oh, don't forget, if you'd like to take part in the show, you can join the Discord server and come in and say something, or you can super chat the show and I'll read out your comment, probably at in an untimely fashion. But anyway, it's there if you want it. Now, I haven't been unkind enough to the MAGA folk recently, so here to help are the good liars.
Welcome to Easy Money. I'm here in Washington, D.C. We're asking easy questions and giving away money for every correct answer. Let's have some fun. You ever played Easy Money?
No, I never played Easy.
You never played Easy Money? Ever?
No, never.
I'm going to ask you easy questions. You give me the answers, you win some cash. Is the earth round or flat?
Flat. I don't think it's perfectly flat.
Okay. Is Elvis alive?
Yes.
Who won the 2020 election?
President Trump did.
I'm not used to the buzzer sound. The buzzer
I
sound.
know you. That's wrong for you.
Yeah, the buzzer sound. It's just, I'm not used to it.
Yup.
Yeah. It's just like, it's very irritating, isn't it? Is Joe Biden alive?
No, he's not.
Buzzer sound. Is JFK Jr. alive?
Oh. Oh man.
It's easy money, man. The guy who died in the plane crash, the
I know, man.
90s, JFK Jr. Is he alive? Michael Jackson alive?
Yes, he is.
Is Tupac alive?
Yes.
Is Prince alive?
Yes. Patrick Swayze.
Is JFK Jr. alive?
Yes. Yes, he is.
Is Robin Williams alive?
Yes, he is.
We have to get some of them right, you know?
No, he is alive.
The game doesn't work unless I give away money. It's easy money.
Well, I thought that was fun.
It was.
Yeah. Wow.
I think it's the best buzzer sound you could possibly have for that scenario, isn't it?
Yeah.
People were basically saying, "You want to give me free money? No, thank you."
Yeah, no. They'd rather blab their conspiratard crap than have a few extra quid for free.
He didn't provide any evidence.
Some of them you can see them being asked a question, they're giving the answer, and some of them you can just about make out a wince where they know that what they're having to say, they know they're not going to get money for.
Right. Okay, staying with MAGA for a few minutes, here are a couple of examples of some rather good AI slop.
After years of culture wars, no one could stand between my men and homophobia. We will put the data center here. But when the Nolans of Hollywood tried to wokeify classic literature none of us had read, I knew it was time for one more battle.
No! Black Greek people!
But the gods had other plans. They must be woke.
The film is doing well, Elon, and now we look like losers.
I needed to use my minions on X to reverse the success of this film. Say the movie didn't make as much as they spent. Say they lost audience for being too woke. Say it is a total flop.
Yes, sir! Tweeting now! Look! A drive-through!
Resist the urge. Put the wax back in your ears. Don't see the movie. Woke is broke.
Really hate that sad loser, Mr. Newberger.
Who, me?
If you enjoy Mr. Newberger's AI Funnies and want to help support a creator, subscribe to his Patreon, donate at his GoFundMe, or share and like this video on all platforms.
You really could have worn underwear, Elon. That was a choice.
I wanted to represent authentic Greek historical accuracy.
Well, it's accurately small like it is in Greek art. Amazing you fathered so many kids with that tiny thing.
Hey, anyone seen the Tate brothers?
They were below you in the horse.
Anyway, we can all slightly shift to the left.
This plan better work, Stephen. I am missing executive time for this.
The left will fall right into our plans and bring us right into their election headquarters where we can steal the midterms and protect your legacy.
It's a great plan, boss, and will keep us in power.
Hey, Mr. President, any chance I can borrow that straw?
What a total and unmitigated disaster.
It looks to scale.
We should bring that back to our election headquarters and show our constituents how crazy he is.
That will take the top 1% of my men to move that thing with its giant ass.
Think of all the starving people we could feed if we melted it down.
I can't believe they don't see the problem in building big statues to him.
And to think that they are calling us the commies.
They are starting to move us. The plan's working.
I think we are finally inside.
I can open the hatch if I can get my arm out. Can you unclench your damn cheeks?
Something nice about being in a moving vehicle without a driver.
Stephen, this is not the DNC headquarters. It's a garbage dump.
Well, we finally took out the garbage.
To the midterms.
To the midterms!
To the midterms.
I knew they were gonna come out of the butt. I knew it.
Yeah, that music was really over the top.
Yeah, it was good though,
Very
wasn't
dramatic
it? I thought it was good.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Taking, spoofing the Odyssey movie, I think.
Trojan horse.
Okay, to the UK now.
I loved it.
To the UK now. This next guy has been on the show before. First, when he made videos claiming he'd been offered money by the UK government to rent his hotel for migrant accommodation, and he had heroically refused. Then he claimed the council had objected to him flying a Union Jack, so he heroically bought and flew a much bigger one. Well, this is his latest grift. Take a look.
I'm buying a church. I just put down a cash offer of £225,000 to buy this church that was about to be closed down and sold off to developers. I'm sick and tired of driving past all these churches in the UK that used to be thriving, that were helping the community, feeding the homelessness. I mean, look, you can see all the stuff that they used to do. Ladies' Circle, Men's Supper Club. We need more soup kitchens open. But look at the building, it's boarded up, it's closed down, and now there's developers queuing up to buy it, to convert it and to turn it into flats. I just can't have a building that was built to glorify Jesus being turned into something to just make profit. This is my hometown. We're in Darlaston, Warsaw. I grew up around these ends. So I'm gonna buy this and I'm gonna offer it completely free of charge, zero rent, to a church that is prepared to worship Jesus here, yes, but also feed the hungry, clothe the naked, and house the homeless in the streets of the Black Country.
I don't quite know what his grift is with this, but
why did he call it a black country?
That's what they call that area. It's called the Black Country.
He's just basically telling. He's taking £250,000 out of his personal investment portfolio and spattering against the wall indefinitely.
Right, I just don't believe it. Don't believe it for a minute.
Well,
you don't get to have £250,000 by giving away £250,000 every now and then. You get £250,000 by being really miserly.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
I fail to see how he's, how long he's going to want to do that,
Well, funnily enough, I made a comment on his video and I said, I bet you his next video is that, that the council won't allow him to buy the church or something like that. And he actually responded to my comment. And he said, no, the sale's gone through. It's all actually happening. You can come and see it and all of this. So I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see.
All right, Jim, you got a field trip in the future now.
Watch this space.
He's got an angle. He's got an angle. I just don't know what it is.
Right. All right, here in the UK, we got yet another new Prime Minister this week. Meet Andy Burnham.
I have just come from Buckingham Palace, where I have accepted His Majesty the King's invitation to form a government.
You're not going to try and tell me that ear is normal, because that's not normal. Take a look at that ear. You don't tell me you've ever seen a human being with that kind of ear before. Some kind of prosthetics. And the second thing I noticed, okay, I think that's Keir Starmer. Or it's the actor that plays Keir Starmer. But who it isn't is Andy Burnham. I don't know what they've done with Andy Burnham, and I don't know why they're playing these games. But anyone with any discernment can see that that looks like Keir Starmer. If you still think that the World Cup was an organic, natural game and that Spain just won, and that the whole Lionel Messi with the bar thing is just a coincidence, I can't help you. We're not on the same level spiritually. We're not even in the same universe. Yeah, you want to look at that ear and tell me that's normal? Like, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? You non-player characters are not going to be all up here in my comments trying to tell me that that's a human.
The amount of people I've had contact me yesterday is absolutely unreal. It really is. All regarding the same thing. Talking about Andy Burnham. Asking, how can a man that's mayor of Manchester all of a sudden be Prime Minister? And I explained what's how the system works is they need a new Prime Minister. They want one in. They get someone to stand down. They put him in as an MP. They go through the motions. He goes for Prime Minister. No one will challenge it, obviously, because everybody's been told not to, because he's the man they want in power. And that's how it happened. So yeah, he was Prime Minister from Monday. A shock to a lot of people. Don't understand how the system works. Well, this is the system. The system's how they want to work it. And unfortunately, there is no democratic way round it. They want a new Prime Minister, they get one. Now, should it be different? Should it be like other places? Should it be, if the Prime Minister stands down, it's automatically a general election or a leadership challenge? There's no leadership challenge as such. It's just the fact is Andy Burnham was chosen to do the job and he is now in charge. The puppeteer has put him in his place. Let's see how many times he's going to fuck things up. Let's see how bad things are going to be in 6 months. Do you think that they're going to be better or for the worse? I think definitely it's going to be much, much worse. Anyway, that's my thoughts. What are yours?
Well, here's something I bet you didn't expect. Andy Burnham tomorrow is going to scrap digital ID. What? What? Digital ID scrapped? Well, let's see if it comes to fruition, because we all know where digital ID leads.
Breaking news here in Batshit Bonkers Britain, where we're about to get another Prime Minister. Yes, that's right, Andy Burnham this time. He'll be elected with just 7,000 votes. Yes, that's right, just 7,000 votes from a local constituency. But here in the UK, Prime Ministers are just like illegals. There'll be another one along in any moment. He is going to be the first Prime Minister to work from home because he can't be asked to go into London. He's going to set up Number 10 North. Expect to see a lot of him on Zoom meetings, dressed only in a casual black t-shirt, nothing on from the waist down, except for perhaps a merkin and odious amounts of body hair covering his thick cankles. In other news, the king is a traitor to this country. He has got rid of his role 500 years in the making as head of the Church of England and defender of the faith, and now is going to be defender of all faiths in a multi-faith nation. That is not how it works. See America for details. Faith and family and freedom. One nation under God. 2A all the way, as a by the way.
I don't want to alarm anyone, but the British Prime Minister has just helped people out twice in the last 2 days. He's been in the job 3 days. And I'm just a little bit worried because, you know, he first took VAT off electricity bills and everyone was like, all right, well, that's £45 in a year, Andy. Do you know what I mean? Do a better job. And then he went, oh, by the way, all buses are £2. And for some people, that's like 500 quid a year back. And he's also saying that he wants to do the exact same thing with trains. And if he does, then he's, for me, if he sorts the fucking train prices out, he's Prime Minister for the rest of my life. I would vote that man in 1 billion times over. But then I'm a bit worried because then who are we going to attack? Like, what are the papers going to write about? Fuck it. Burn them in.
So true, though, isn't it? What are they going to write about? You know?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, if you look in the right-wing circles, they're all moaning, oh, this bus fare thing, oh, it's just, he just put it back to what it was before. And VAT on electricity, it's only saving us 40 quid. You know what I mean? It's
just
still a good
whining.
thing, right? It's still better than nothing. But no, it's all just bad, you know. And, of course, Hopkins there, Katie Hopkins, he's being elected with 7,000 votes from a local constituency. That's how every single Prime Minister ever has been elected. Every single one we've ever had.
Yeah.
For 750 years. But she's going on about 500 years of the Church of England. And America and 2A all the way, but clearly has no respect at all for 1A, does she? The separation of church and state. No, completely. No, we need to have a Christian head of state like it is in America, where there could never be a head of state that's professing any particular religion as the official one, you know? It's just so mind-numbingly stupid she is.
She's a woman. She's a woman of the people, Jen, which is why she video cast from an Edwardian walled garden.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and the first lady was saying, yes, why do they always imagine that when they replace people, they can't do fucking ears?
Right. I know.
Why do we have to?
But she never mentioned a single thing that was wrong with his ears. You can't tell me that's a human ear. But she didn't point any out in any inhuman feature of it, did she? You know.
No, what they did is they replaced Andy Burnham is actually either Keir Starmer or his actor, but what they've done is they've given him an inhuman ear, and what's happened is we've all gone, oh, that must be a different person because it's a slightly different, nonetheless inhuman ear, but we just ignore that.
Right.
I mean, how can you smush all this together in your head in one day, let alone in one tweet?
It just doesn't make sense, does it? Just not thought through at all.
No.
They got
They're
an
kind of
actor
weird when
that
you look
they
at
had
them
to give the
closely and they
actor.
vary between people.
Sorry.
If the fingerprints were visible on camera, they'd be saying those were inhuman too.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
still
back when John F. Kennedy was being elected, the fact that he was a Catholic was like a big problem because they said, "Oh, the Vatican is not going to give is not going to be driving the country." So I don't
Right.
know. Being a Catholic is a problem now, or was?
Jim, I'll tell you what they get. I'll tell you how it works, Jim. They elect a leader, they choose a leader, and they elect him, and they have him as the leader of the party.
Right.
This isn't democracy.
Right.
This isn't democracy.
Oh, no, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
None of them understand how it works.
They
at
don't.
all.
They haven't got a clue. They just haven't got a clue. And a lot of
They
them,
don't like how
another
it
thing
works.
a lot of them say, because of course they all just watch a video and repeat it, and they say Andy Burnham's he's come out of nowhere. No, he hasn't. He was fucking mayor of Manchester. Sometime before that, he was a fucking cabinet minister in the government. He hasn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I may be a little bit late at this, but did you know that Winston Churchill didn't go to the country? He was elected. He wasn't elected to be prime minister.
How does this work? How does a man end up controlling all of government and both sides of the house agreeing to do whatever he wants for 4 years? How does this work? This isn't democracy.
No, it's ridiculous. All right, still in the UK, Anne Widdecombe was a former Conservative politician who recently acted as a spokesperson for Nigel Farage's Reform Party. Tragically, she was recently murdered in her home. This has, of course, led to a stack of conspiracies. Take a look.
In her last ever live interview, just 4 hours before she was murdered, Anne Widdecombe warned of a hidden establishment operating behind the scenes of UK politics.
I've got very little trust left now in parliamentary processes. And if you look at this government, which has a majority on that committee, if you look at this government, look at the way that it's reacted when it's felt vulnerable, changes to political donations, cancelling local elections, we all remember that, going for votes at 16, loosening the voter ID requirements, you just name it. I mean, they react in such a way that is geared all around self-preservation now. Nigel is challenging that establishment, and he's called this the establishment versus the people, and I think that just about sums it up.
Does this establishment of which you and Nigel speak actually exist?
Yes, I believe it does. Now, I didn't always believe in that theory, but I do think now that different parts of the establishment act in ways which I think are extremely questionable. We saw it in the banking scandal. And suddenly you realise it wasn't just Nigel, a load of other people as well who didn't have the ability to publicise and fight it. So, yes, I think the establishment is there in that sense, yes.
So I'm just going to say it. I think Anne Widdecombe may have been taken out by the deep state. And of course, this is just my opinion, but bear with me on this while I give you the facts around all of this. Because to me, something here just doesn't add up. So police have now released CCTV footage of the man that they say is responsible for Anne's murder. And I've already got questions. Like, how on earth did he drive from Rotherham to Dartmoor in Devon in such a short space of time? On the CCTV footage itself, assuming the time is correctly adjusted, he left the house at 7:51 and then did a 267-mile drive during rush hour traffic. Now, Google Maps says that regardless of his route, it would have taken him 5 hours, meaning that he would have arrived at Anne's house at around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The only issue is the police have previously said that she died at 12:30. Now, this is really strange because to get there in 4.5 hours It would mean speeding the whole way through rush hour traffic, no stops, no breaks, no rests, and then arriving at Anne's house instantly, no looking round, you know, to see where it is, knowing where it is instantly, no scoping the place out, just straight in, job done and gone. And I ask you this, do you think it's realistic for a man to speed all that way, not stop, knock half an hour off the journey on British roads during rush hour morning traffic, travelling past places like Birmingham, Cardiff, Bristol, Nottingham, to arrive at the house and carry out a murder instantly and then flee, all presumably on a full bladder? It's just not realistic. But then it gets even stranger because just hours before Anne's murder, she took to Talk TV to explain that government are essentially not in charge and that there is an establishment working behind the scenes. Essentially, she came away from the government-approved narrative and spoke out, and then she was killed. And when you look at it this way, I believe you may start to realise that now it all makes sense why the police have been releasing duff information, arresting the wrong people, then releasing them, then refusing to release CCTV from Anne's house, but then releasing other CCTV footage, which just doesn't make sense. And I'm just going to say it, I think this is being done to blur the lines, to confuse the general public, and to overload us with bullshit. Anne, I believe, was bumped off by the deep state. Because this woman, she was dangerous. She was a threat to them. Anne was politically active for nearly 3 decades. The knowledge she would have had, the people she will have met, the stories she could have told, the corruption she could have exposed. She simply knew too much. And I believe that the moment she spoke out and didn't toe the line, a decision was made. And that decision means that she is no longer with us.
Okay, let's share this far and wide. There's actually 2 of these sketches, 2 artist impressions, and I asked ChatGPT to turn them both into real people. Now I'm going to show you the other one. So this is a second artist impression. He looks a bit darker, still doesn't look like Joshua Kerry now, does he? Right, let's go for it. Let's see what ChatGPT come up with, and I asked them to turn these 2 pictures into real people. Now this is supposed to be Joshua Kerry. Is that the guy with the long hair with the Easter eggs? I don't think so. Is that the guy putting the bins out? He's not fat enough. I definitely don't think so. You wait till you see the next one. So this is a second artist impression. There's no way on earth this guy is a British national. No way. Definitely not. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you think this has been a cover-up? Let's have it. Do you think this is Joshua Kerry? The same bloke with the long hair? I fucking don't.
Oh, it's all coming out now. Look at these photos. It's a far-left communist X-account. And now watch this video.
The national question by Comrade Lenin and Comrade Stalin showed how peace between peoples could be achieved. It wasn't just workers who saw this lodestar. The ruling class did too. The landowners and capitalists saw the future laid out ahead of them. A future where the exalted few would be shorn of their ability to live decadent lifestyles off the backs of countless workers and peasants.
So, you may recognise that figure, or who we supposedly think that figure is, obviously, because it's all speculation and conspiracy. That is apparently Joshua Kerry. Now, he was the one that killed Anne Widdecombe, is currently going through trial on a far-left communist site, talking about communism, far-left ideology, like the material that was found in his room, supposedly. And yeah, apparently it's still not a politically motivated attack. Well, although they're investigating the possibility of it being it, I'm certain it was now, because you cannot be on a communist X account, talk about communism, far left ideology, and yes, it is far left. You cannot have far right and not far left. It is far left, dangerous, violent ideology. And he's on there talking about all this stuff, and then now all of a sudden it's not politically motivated. Where you don't drive 250 miles to apparently a far right politician's home, strike around the head 21 times with a hammer, if it's not politically motivated. You don't drive 250 miles for an ID and wallet. I think he was trying to get trophies of the killing. He was trying to get her on live TV, but instead she was eating lunch. And this is a very dangerous, expanding case.
Let's look at photo number 1. Joshua Kerry, 28 from Rochdale, the man accused of the murder of Anne Widdecombe. Now, let's look at photo number 2. This is the courtroom portrait created by courtroom artist Elizabeth Cook. This is how she depicted the defendant during the court proceedings, and she signs her artwork. Now let's look at photo number 3. Someone asked Grok to create a realistic human version of Elizabeth Cook's courtroom sketch. It didn't have access to the original photograph. It simply generated what it believed the sketch represented. Now this is the result. Now compare all 3 images carefully. The first is a photograph of the accused. The second is a signed courtroom sketch. The third is an AI-generated human interpretation of that sketch. Look at the facial features, the head shape, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the hairline, and the overall appearance. Do you believe these 3 images depict the same individual, or do you think there are significant differences? I'm not telling you what to think, I'm simply showing you the images side by side and asking you to make up your own mind.
Have you noticed this? And it may be me, but there's something, you know, when you get that feeling and it's just, you can't put your finger on it, but something doesn't feel right. But that's how I'm kind of feeling about this, the Anne Widdecombe incident. Have you noticed how silent it's gone? And the question now is, what else are they investigating or whatever? I don't know. But are you cynical about it? Are you feeling that something just doesn't feel right? Do let me know.
This is calling out Nigel Farage and the rest of the political community, particularly Nigel at the moment. Anne Widdecombe's murder. We've been digging even further. And as you were really concerned about what happened and that you're under threat, why have you allowed an AI-generated photograph to be circulated to the press on the 18th of July? Go to my website, download the files, and have a look for yourself at why this is AI-generated. We're continuing to dig. Will you, Nigel? Let's take it up. Let's do something about it. You're the man. You're the party that Anne used to work for.
What a lunatic. Anyway, that's all very interesting, isn't
I'm not telling you what to think.
I'm
Have a think.
I can't see any corroborating timeline for when he left his home on the CCTV that morning. Anywhere really. So
No.
I don't know if that's actually been released. And if Anne Widdecombe was killed because she thought there's an establishment, fingers crossed for Nigel, yeah? Fingers crossed.
Yes. Well, as the great Gertrude Perkins pointed out, Anne Widdecombe was a Conservative Member of Parliament and a government minister. She was part of the establishment. I mean, you know, and if that, like that guy said, oh, think of the stories she could tell, the things she would know. Well, if she's keeping quiet, then she's complicit. If there's all, like, you know, criminal stuff going on that she's known about for years and is kept quiet about, then she's, you know, complicit,
She's guilty.
isn't she?
She probably helped propose those things too.
And I don't know, I mean, that guy said, he was talking about how far he drove and he must have been speeding in rush hour traffic. Well, it's a 4.5 hour journey or whatever. It wasn't all rush hour traffic. And then he said, presumably with a full bladder. Well, maybe he had a piss before he left and, you know, took an empty bottle with him. I mean...
It's just over 250 miles.
Yeah. Oh, and he said he went past cities like Nottingham, Cardiff and Birmingham. He wouldn't have gone anywhere near fucking Cardiff. What are you on about?
He went between them, Jem, so you know, obviously there could have been some sense in which travelling 80 or 90 miles alongside a city could severely impact your journey.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when she's saying there's an establishment, she's doing what everybody that's trying to garner attention in the continuous media circus when they leave politics does. Just start trying to pretend there's something to talk about or to dismantle in the system they're in. I mean, she was the establishment.
Right. You can't be more establishment than, you know, a Conservative minister who was in government for years, can you? I mean,
And if you listen to the things she was reeling off, they were hardly like, Illuminati, were they?
Right.
She was talking about how they were manipulating publicly and clearly manipulating a couple of bits and pieces to get certain political narratives done. But it wasn't like she'd been reading fucking Q that morning.
No. But what I thought is evident from this is the entitlement. They just, a police released some video and they didn't release some other video, and people they think that the minute something like this goes off, they're entitled to know absolutely everything there is to know about it. The police, the instant they arrive at the scene, they know everything. They have the whole story in front of them, and they're just keeping it secret and don't release stuff. And I mean, it's just ridiculous. Investigations take time. Of course, sometimes they arrest the wrong person first and then have to release them. That's not unusual. It doesn't mean they made some big error. It just means they, acted quickly to prevent someone getting away, probably, It's just, they just seem so entitled that they should just know everything. And if they don't, someone's keeping it, covering it up,
Yeah.
Right, what's next? Oh, yes, I know. Elon Musk told a big fat lie this week, believe it or not. Here's some clips from 2 interviews, starting with the world's dumbest podcaster, Joe Rogan.
But what is the purpose of allowing all those people into the country? It can't be. I wouldn't imagine that anyone in their society supports this.
Well, let me explain. So because you mentioned, for example, how much, say, Hillary and Obama have changed their tune from prior speeches where they were hard-nosed about not letting in anyone who's a criminal into the country, having secure borders, all that stuff. So why did they change their tune? The reason is that they discovered that those people vote for them. That's why they want the open borders.
Because if you let people in, they know the Democrats let them in, they'll vote for Democrats.
Yes.
If you allow them to vote.
Which they're actively doing. They turn a blind eye to illegal voting.
You support not just the populist right, but the far right. In fact, very fringe parties in some countries.
No, I support the normal people.
Okay.
What do you call the far right? Falsely.
You think is the normal person. Okay.
Yes. Literally, you could go back 10 or 15 years, and these policies were completely normal. In fact, one of the tricks that I think is funny. One of the things that's quite funny is to take a speech from Obama and Hillary, and then go to someone and say, who's sort of on the sort of what I call the lunatic left, and say, what do you think of the speech by Trump? I'm like, oh wow, he's the worst person ever. Actually, that was a speech by Obama, or actually, that was a speech by Hillary.
I agree. No, I agree that the center of gravity in this country has shifted. Certainly, the Democratic Party shifted to the left. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people like Rupert Lowe. I'm
fringe
talking
right,
about
please.
people.
It's actually just normal people. It's just normal people. It's just normal people. And and here are the principles. And tell me which of these sound terrible. That we should have secure borders. That we should have safe cities. That we should have sensible spending. Which of those three are far right fringe? And I would like to just admonish you and the media for the absurd characterization of the far right. It is false and misleading and nonsense. Please keep this part in.
We'll keep all of this in, but let me
Don't cut this part.
Let me push back on that. Let me push back on that
because
you have
nonsense.
Elon, you have what is it? Close to 250 million followers on X.
Yeah, because
you say things like,
popular guy.
Quote, civil war in Britain is inevitable. Just a question of when.
On the current trend, yes.
I mean, when were you last in the UK?
A few years ago.
Exactly. So I live there. I'm there the whole time. That is nonsense.
You live a cloistered existence.
No, I don't actually. And the numbers also disprove what you say.
What numbers?
all the numbers about crime. London is a much safer city than any city in the United States. Violent crime in the UK is not where you think it is. In fact, it's coming down. You have painted, and because you have so many followers, so many Americans believe it, a kind of view that Europe and the UK are kind of, overrun with terrifying Muslim immigrants. There's rape on every corner. There's a sort of civilizational
I haven't
destruction.
said any of those things until one day, 1,000 people show up in your village of 500 out of nowhere and rape and start raping the kids. This has now happened God knows how many times in Britain. If you have a large and rapidly growing group of people whose beliefs are antithetical to Western beliefs, at some point there will be a reckoning. That they will try to implement their views, and those who oppose it will oppose it, and that's what you call civil war. And obviously, this is the trend. And you absolutely do live in a cloistered existence. And if you'd like, we can go on a tour of Britain.
Sure.
And we
I'd
can go
be
on a
very
walking
happy
tour,
to come on a tour of Britain.
and you will see
You
for
come
yourself.
see my country that I live in all the time, and you haven't been to a few
I've
years
been
ago.
there literally 100 times.
But when was the last time?
Literally a few years ago.
You know why this exercises me? Because you have really shaped opinion about the UK. And so many Americans I come across and I have conversations with, and and I just had one the other day along the order of, oh, London's such a dangerous place. How can you know? There are sort of grooming gangs everywhere. There's violence everywhere. This is a picture that people get from things that you post or that are posted on X. And for example, you're posting for, 48 hours of Citizen Vigilante. That film, which,
Yes.
paints a dystopian, I've watched it.
Yes.
It was not fun. I watched it yesterday. It's not a very good movie. But it also paints a dystopian picture of Europe. And it glorifies vigilante violence. It glorifies the murdering of a Muslim immigrant family. I honestly think that it is irresponsible for you to put that up on X.
I think that it's a movie, and it's worth watching.
People say that you're a racist. What is the motivation for doing
Yes,
that?
I
Are
mean,
you fermenting?
my partner is she's half Indian, and and I have 4 children with her. One of them was named after a famous Indian physicist. So I would say I'm not racist, and also if you look at the people that are employed at my companies, we have senior executives of all races. I don't think there's any racism there.
Are you anti-Muslim?
I'm against having if people are coming to a country with antithetical views. I am against that. I'm against that. I'm against. I'm against rape and murder. I'm against the imposition of rules and laws that are contrary to what we've come to accept in the West. And I think it's a crying shame that the sort of traditional media, like you, don't recognize this.
Why should you be able to shape European politics? You don't even live there.
I think of it as the sort of the West collectively.
But do you see why this makes people think that this man who has all this power, he's the world's richest man, he thinks he has a right to influence our politics? It makes people, it's why, we started this conversation saying superlatives. It's why people loathe you. I mean, some people do loathe you.
Yes, some people do.
But do you understand why? Do you think what you're doing is helpful for Western democracy?
Maybe some people do loathe me. And that's probably true. I don't care. But the fact that, as you pointed out, 250 million people follow me is that I think a lot more people actually like me than don't. And I think a lot more people hate you and the media more than you realize.
UK, Europe, and Germany, England thing seems so insane.
It's totally insane. I actually didn't realize it was like such a huge number of people that got
12,000. Yeah, far above Russia. far above China,
Right.
far above anywhere on Earth. UK is number one.
Well, things I actually, I talked to friends of mine in England, and I was like, hey, aren't you worried about this? Like, shouldn't you be protesting more? And I mean, the problem is that like the legacy mainstream media doesn't cover the stuff. They're like, oh, everything's fine, right?
Most people aren't even aware of it until they come knocking on your door.
Yeah, until so. I mean, these like lovely sort of small towns in England, Scotland, Ireland. They've been like sort of living their lives quietly. They're like hobbits, frankly. So it's in fact, J.R.R. Tolkien based the hobbits on people he knew in small town England, because they were just like lovely people who liked to, smoke their pipe and have nice meals, and everything's pleasant. The hobbits in the Shire. The Shire, he was talking about, places like Hertfordshire, like the Shire is around in the Greater London area, Oxfordshire type of thing. The reason they've been able to enjoy the Shire is because hard men have protected them from the dangers of the world. And but since they have almost no exposure to the dangers of the world, they don't realize that they're there until one day, 1,000 people show up in your village of 500 out of nowhere and rape and start raping the kids. This has now happened God knows how many times in Britain.
Such a fucking arrogant, fucking lunatic, wanker, liar, fantasist cunt.
How do you really feel? What do you disagree? What do you disagree with? What do you disagree with, Jim? Because I think whilst he's okay, I think in the interview he's not so bad compared to what he's like on Twitter. So what do you disagree with in the interview, Jim?
Well, I mean, the fact that he says that everyone living in the Shires, as he calls them,
right,
completely naive to the world. I mean, every single one of the villages in the Shires has got a World War II, World War I memorial. Every one of them has got people that don't necessarily always live in the Shires. They retire from the cities. And everybody in the Shires isn't based upon people in The Hobbit. And for you to think that what he said, but if you sit there as an Englishman thinking his characterization of England is true and honest and representative, then maybe you need to leave.
So what was wrong about what he said about the Shires? Sorry.
Well, because
sorry, did you not hear what I just said?
There's people living in the English Shires that aren't aware of these dangers that he's talking about because hard men have protected them. Tell me, elaborate on that. Tell me all about it. Give me an example of one of the Shires, one of the dangers that they were protected from, and the name of the hard man that protected them. Or just admit that that's just some absurd, ridiculous fantasy. Just some
that
just
poor tenet
nonsense.
we just said was bollocks. But tell us how the rest of it is representative.
It's King Charles, Jim. He's protecting you. He's a strong man.
But the other thing was, of course, his lie. Well, he told multiple lies, but I thought the main one was, I'd never said anything like that. When she said, you make Europe out to be this place where everybody gets, this rape on every corner and everything. And he said almost exactly that. In fact, worse than what she characterized. That there were 1,000 Muslims turned up at some village and started raping all the children, and this has now happened God knows how many times in Britain. Yeah, it is God knows. It's 0 times that this has happened in Britain.
I do think that the interviewer did a good job of questioning him on the on his seeming deep interest in the United Kingdom specifically, and that bit I think she did well. As for Elon Musk's general point, I mean. I'm not going to agree with every detail he's going to say, obviously, but I think he's zogged to death.
Have you forgotten the question you asked now?
Well,
I like him better now.
To what Jem said, because Jem is more interesting than you has.
But the other thing was the arrogance. Oh, you live a cloistered existence. Oh, yeah, because I'm sure when the world's richest man visits Britain, he gets down with the kids on the streets, right? I mean, what the fuck does he know? I'll take you on a tour of Britain when he hasn't even been there for years. He's just another idiot that's brainwashed by his own fucking stupid propaganda platform. It's just
he's Scrooge.
But the key is he's
arrogant.
He was right.
Patronising arrogant.
Neither.
And he's going. I mean, he said it
really.
himself. I speak to my friends in the UK, and I say, shouldn't you be protesting more about the bullshit that I'm making up every day? Why aren't you out there protesting my bullshit? Fucking cunt.
I think generally he's correct, though. I mean, like the general sentiment of what he's saying.
No,
Like, in the same way that
everything he said
if I
was
may-
Flig. Every single thing he said was incorrect. There isn't a single. There's never been a village where 1,000 Muslims turned up and started raping everyone. He said that had happened God knows how many times in Britain. That's completely false. He said that reporter led a cloistered existence and he knew what's what. That's completely false. I mean, he said that the people he supports, the people he's supporting, are just normal people. And 10 years ago, this would have been considered normal. Tommy Robinson was considered an extremist 10 years ago. Rupert Lowe has a policy of fucking ethnic cleansing, for fuck's sake. No one was talking about that 10 years ago. And it definitely would not have been considered normal. Everything he said was a fucking lie. And I just don't know how you can sit there and go, yeah, well, that's okay. It's just lying. Lying about our country. Denigrating our country. And you people, the people who call themselves patriots, support this shit. The people who tell us they love our country, support this. So here's a person lying through his teeth to denigrate our nation. How wonderful. What a patriot.
If I may, I said that he's generally correct. Like, I think the sentiment is correct in the same way that I think, like, Pazza has when he was arguing that we can't know that Afghans rape more per capita, per percent of their population than the average British person does. I think that is another instance of someone just being like willfully stupid. But the sentiment of what he's trying to do is say, well, immigrants are fine. I disagree with that sentiment as well. Whereas Elon Musk has this general sentiment of there's a problem with immigrants, they're raping, they're murdering, or whatever.
Yeah, but that's
I agree with that.
You're just saying what he said.
The details, obviously, he's incorrect on.
But you're just saying what he said.
We can see your black shirt from here, mate. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're just.
He's incorrect on all.
Can I get in? Can I get in with the sentence I've tried to start 3 times before you go, Nasser? You're just saying what he said. You're just saying, oh, it's general sentiments, right? Well, if he needs to tell a pack of lies to express this general sentiment that you are deriving, he isn't actually saying, you're deriving it as a sort of mild, mellowed out version of the lies that he told. And you're like, well, he's just generally saying that he doesn't like immigrants. No, he said there are villages in England where 1,000 Muslim men turned up and started raping all the children, and this has happened, God knows how many times. That's what he said about our country. How can you possibly have any level of support for a person who speaks about our nation in that way? Fuck you.
Well, if you're a fascist.
Well, he said one thing that was true, though. He said he doesn't like people come to other people's countries who don't share the same values as they do. And that's the truth.
If you're a platitudinal
Says
fascist.
an immigrant to the United States. It's kind of funny that he's an immigrant to the United States.
Who came from apartheid.
Nice. I like the sentiment.
Yeah, and he came from apartheid, didn't he? I mean, is that something that would be unacceptable in the United States? I think it is. Well, at least currently. All right, a little more Musk now, and for once he isn't predicting an existential crisis. Or maybe he is, but this one will be okay. Take a look. Here's Musk on AI.
I think AI may exceed the sum of human intelligence in around 5 years.
In 5 years?
Roughly 5 years is my guess. So there really won't be anything that AI can't do better than humans, apart from being human, perhaps.
At a more prosaic level, what will life be like?
The most likely outcome is an age of amazing abundance, where anyone can have anything they can think of. This may sound preposterous, but well, here we are in 2026. Let's see where we stand in 2036. Now, of course, there are things that could derail this, like a massive global thermonuclear war or something like that. But assuming that there's not World War III, I think we're headed for an age of amazing abundance. So this is, I guess, a message of optimism and excitement about the future.
You're sure that humans will no longer be in control in 10 years' time?
I think it is unlikely, in the same way that if you had a vastly more, if the difference in intelligence between AI and humans is vastly greater than the difference in intelligence between AI and chimpanzees, it's hard to imagine that the chimpanzees would be in charge.
I'm really
And
struck
we
by
are
this.
essentially an evolved form of chimpanzee. So it wasn't that long ago that we were swinging through the trees, eating bananas in the jungle. And we still eat bananas.
You said there was a 10 to 20% chance of killer robots wiping out humanity.
Yes.
So you sounded worried then. Now you seem very relaxed about it. Have you changed your view?
I still think there's risk associated with AI and robots. It's not zero. I guess I've come to my sort of philosophical conclusion is to look on the bright side. I can't see any way to really stop this incredible momentum of AI and robots. And at times I sort of think, well, perhaps, even if there was a stop button, we probably shouldn't press it because the most likely outcome is incredible abundance for all.
That's what I thought, actually. It struck me that now you seem to have decided it's inevitable. Let's hope for the best and go for the ride.
Yeah, I mean, yes, pretty much. Let's enjoy the ride. Is I think my philosophy at this point. Because I mean, honestly, there seems to be just an inexorable progress here in AI and in robots. That even if I wanted to stop it, I couldn't.
Do you think there's still a 10 to 20% chance that killer robots mean the end of humanity? That's a high P-doom, as they say.
Well, in the long run, we're all dead, of course. So I mean, according to the standard model of physics, the end of the universe is a long, boring, sort of thin, gray soup of gradual cooling. Meaning it's sort of the heat death of the universe is called. So now if the heat death of the universe is in fact the outcome for our reality, then it really is all about the journey. Because the destination is terrible.
Yeah, but 10 years is not very yeah, I get that, but that could be a long way ahead.
Very long way.
And you're basically saying,
very long way.
If it's 10 to 20% in 10 years, would you go into one of your rockets if you thought there was a 10 to 20% chance of it blowing up and killing you?
Yes, but let's say you can't do anything about it.
Okay.
I guess the only thing we can try to do is minimize the probability of the bad outcome. But trying to stop the intelligence in robots, I mean, for the longest time, I declined to participate in AI, or was created OpenAI as essentially a counterweight to Google, because at the time they had more or less a monopoly on AI. In creating OpenAI and then having Anthropic spin out of that, and now currently Anthropic's the leader in AI. I mean, these actions have actually resulted in knock-on effects that accelerated AI, which wasn't really my intention. so it just seems like all roads lead to acceleration of AI. So then I'm like, okay, well, you can just sort of be sad about it or join the club, I suppose.
Well, you've certainly joined the club.
Yeah.
You've definitely joined the club.
If you can't beat them, join them, you know?
A number of the other leaders of model makers have been pushing for different ways to try and minimize the risks. Just last week, Demis Hassabis came out with a proposal for a private public regulator. Do you think you guys should be working more actively to get something in place to control the risks, or do you think that's impossible too?
Yeah. My recommendation to Demis, because I talked to him for a few hours before he published his piece, was that the most immediate thing that we could do is to have the leading AI companies at least just meet. We'll have some sort of call once every few weeks and just discuss any safety and security issues.
But why haven't you done that yet? I mean, you don't all like each other very much. Yeah, but you're not all. I mean, you're also all competing, right? You all want to be first.
Yes, but that's where I think the competitors can keep each other honest. So meaning like if I think it's quite difficult for someone in the government who doesn't have a deep technical understanding and isn't driving the frontier of AI to know whether something should be released or not. However, the competitors, I think, can, if given sort of a week or two to review a new model, can highlight issues and have an incentive to keep all the competitors have an incentive to keep the others honest.
So you'd have a system where the model makers would check each other's work. If there was something that worried them, you'd tell the government. Yeah. The government would then think. Okay.
If there's something that was worrisome and that company was not doing anything to address that risk, then that would be the moment for government to step in and take action, which is literally what occurred with Mythos.
How soon does all this have to happen?
Well, I think it'd be good to do that, I think, immediately, really.
Yeah, that's what people keep telling me. We have to get some kind of system in the next 6 months because of the pace at which the models are improving.
Yeah, 6 months is a long time.
Oh dear. That all sounds pretty scary, I think.
Trust the billion-dollar corporations to work together and regulate themselves. Sure.
Works well in the past, yeah.
I don't know why anybody listens to this man for predictions. I mean, I'm sat in front of a list of 33 claims over 13 years of Teslas being full self-driving, or none of which come to fruition. I can find another list of just as many promises about being on the moon, being in orbit, being on Mars at this budget, at this time frame, none of which have come true.
Civil war is inevitable in Britain.
Nothing he predicts ever comes true. You can't find anything he ever says that comes true is on budget and on time. Nothing ever, ever he's ever said. And yet we still listen to him.
Yes.
He doesn't sound very confident. He usually sounds more confident in these kind of interviews. I think he was kind of shook by some of the questions earlier on.
Yeah, I think he was. Although according to Gypsy, he ran rings around that reporter.
I mean, this is the man. This is the man who, when he first started putting AI and robotics together, got people to dress up in fucking costumes and pretend they were robots at symposiums.
Yeah,
he's not a world leader in this field.
No, maybe not.
He might be a leading scammer though in this field.
If you want to know what's going to happen, ask Elon Musk and completely ignore what he just said, because nothing he ever says comes true. He mischaracterizes everything he talks about. And that all spills over into all his rhetoric and politics as well. All the Doge shit, all the stuff about countries falling into disarray. Oh, but I like the sentiment. No, the sentiment's nice. We're going to Mars. We're going to Mars on Tuesday. I like the sentiment.
All right, we've got a couple more 4-minute clips, and then we're into the flat Earth stuff.
Yeah.
So, the Tate brothers were arrested last week. Here are a few conspiracies about that.
What was Jeffrey Epstein arrested for? What was his thing?
I think it was human trafficking or child predator or something like that. It was something along the lines of sexual misconduct.
Right? And I find this interesting, and this is a conspiracy going on. What was Tate allegedly responsible for?
He was human trafficking women.
First of all, who's more Googled right now?
Tate.
When was Tate detained?
Like December 28th.
This is interesting. You want to know why? Do you know what happened on December 28th? The U.S. Virgin Islands sued J.P. Morgan for direct correlation to Jeffrey Epstein and helping them human traffic. And throughout the past few months in these trials that nobody's appeared to have heard about, 20 victims were found paid $1 million each by J.P. Morgan. I just think it's super interesting how nobody's talking about J.P. Morgan right now when it's one of the backbones of the U.S. economy, which is probably why no one's talking about it. And I think it's interesting around the exact same time somebody who's extremely famous was accused with the same thing.
I'm your Common Sense Gay, and in my last video making fun of Andrew Tate's questionable choice of wardrobe during his arrest, one of my followers pointed out that his shoe disappears. And like, it's kind of unexplainable. Let's look and tell me if you have any other reason other than AI. Look at that. I'll slow it down. I wish this camera guy was better. What the hell? That shoe is gone. And you can see the outline with the cement. What the hell? I mean, come on.
Arrested yesterday. But the United Kingdom is going to use their connection to Trump and the Epstein files to take Trump down. This is a wild story. First, you have two of Trump's special envoys involved with the Tate brothers. And special envoy is just another word for someone who works for the president that makes shady deals around the world. Richard Grinnell was responsible for bringing the Tate brothers from Romania to Miami, Florida. Next, you have Paolo Zampoli. You'll remember that he is the one that asked ICE to deport the mother of his child after she was no longer useful to him. He's also a former modeling agent, and he is the one that has come out in defense of Melania and Trump, saying that he is the one that introduced Melania to Trump and that it wasn't Epstein. He has also hosted political and social events with the Tate brothers. The Tate brothers have been charged with 59 counts of trafficking, of violent assault, of exploitation. And there are all of these connections between Trump and Epstein and the Tate brothers and his little special envoy team. The British would love nothing more than to embarrass Trump and to take him down. And this may be the ticket. It is a wild story, and there's a lot more to dig into, and I promise I will keep bringing you these connections. Because
very strange offers. Can you share any of them? Phone numbers appear from nowhere, WhatsApp conversations. I have no idea who this person was or how they got my number, inviting me to very private parties in very private places. I had my own phone calls played back to me. I've answered the phone before, and it's a recording of me on the phone. That's all it is. Yeah, there's things that have happened that have been like, Andrew, you better shut up.
If only he would shut up.
Yeah, he's not good at taking his own record and fake voice for advice, is he? I mean, if his shoes had disappeared, it would have been a better place, certainly for fashion sense, anyway.
It was weird, though, that was, wasn't it? And that cop disappearing. I don't know whether people had, like, recreated the videos in AI or something. I don't know. You just don't know these days, do you? Just there's no way of knowing.
You just can't tell. I mean, he is. I don't know how they think this is linked to Trump. It's not really, is it? It wasn't. It's been going on for bloody ages.
Well, it looks like Trump's completely abandoned him now, doesn't it? They were asked directly. Caroline Leavitt was asked directly. Is
Barron
the
Trump
administration is the administration going to step in? And she said no, straight out, no.
This goes back to Trump's son Barron, though.
Right.
He has been good with the Tates. He is involved with the Tates financially as well.
Right. Apparently, he's managed to make $150 million while Trump's been president this time round.
That's one hell of a paper round.
It makes you feel sick, doesn't it? Makes me feel sick.
But the important thing is that Trump's not drawing a wage.
Yeah. Okay, our old friend Danny Tommo is organising a number of terrorist cells in the UK. Here he is in action. He loses bandwidth partway through, so please do not adjust your sets.
I want to explain some things that need to be put out there in terms of the Patriot platform. The Patriot platform, the initial way of doing this was we were going to do it through email. Unfortunately, the left infiltrated and sent loads and loads of emails and entries into the system, and they crashed it. And it did not allow us to send mass emails out. So we're doing this a bit differently. Today behind me, you'll see the first group of men. These men are from different towns and cities across the United Kingdom. What they're here to do is they're here to listen to me. What they're here to listen to about is the fact that what they're now going to do is these men here are representatives of the towns and cities of where you live. So what's now going to happen is these men, these patriot groups, are going to contact their own people in their own towns. They're going to put together a list of the most strongest Christian, patriotic men and women in this country. Initially, we were going to do the email thing, but the left sent loads of fake emails, loads of fake entries, and unfortunately, it just bounced all the emails back. What you're seeing here is the first group that we have organised to come and have a meet. These men here are dedicated, and women are dedicated to doing something different. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So, as I've said, and I've said many times, things need to start happening differently. So that's what we're doing. I want to apologise for those people that have been patiently waiting for their email addresses, for their emails. But unfortunately, we've realised there's a picture bad. Is it better now? I'm not going to put many of these people on because they've come here for the right reasons. But for anyone that's listening and anyone that's looking to get involved, these men here are going to contact you. They're going to make sure that they pick the best of the bunch, ones that are dedicated, committed, the way that these are. So that's it. I just wanted to put that out there. That's happening. That's happening very soon. And you'll all be contacted. Keep the faith. It's now time to push back. It's time to fight back. These men are ready.
He only ever says what he's not going to do, doesn't he? Never says what, it's time to, push back, and, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. So, we're doing something different, and, but he doesn't tell you what it is they're going to do. What, they're not going to break the law, and they're not going to just go on protests. So what are they going to do?
On a future episode, Jim. Tune in next time.
It'll end up being another, protest march thing.
We can't send out emails, so we're going to do it by carrier pigeon.
Yeah. And he's always going on about men, isn't he? These men. With these men. It's just... And why are they all wearing fucking shorts?
Yeah. Why are they all... what was the point of them meeting up? Couldn't they have just had a Zoom meeting?
Yeah, where the hell were they anyway?
I don't know.
know.
And you've got everyone wearing black, apart from that one guy in a pink t-shirt.
He didn't get the email.
No.
I just don't know why what they were aiming to do in meeting up there particularly. I mean, obviously they're not going to tell us, but like you said, I mean, why aren't they saying what they want to do?
Right.
You might not like what you hear.
He only ever... Well, that's it, because what he wants to do will be illegal, but he keeps telling you that they're not going to do anything illegal.
He's going to get himself in trouble eventually. He really is.
Nothing Major 777 says, hopefully planning a nationwide revolution. I like how these people just think it's fine for 20 million people to go out and elect a government, and then some mob to come along a couple of years later and say, no, we're doing it differently. We're not having that. We're not having you going out voting for people and then being the government. We're going to decide what's happening.
Nobody, calling a group of even 50,000 citizens calling for a revolution, which doesn't have the support of the armed forces or the police, is going to end up with blood in the streets. And
Right.
It's not going to get anywhere.
No.
I mean,
people are weak. They
just
have no
irrespective of what you think or what your sentiments are, you just can't have a revolution of that scale.
Right.
If they will go back and they find 1,000 people to join them, and they what they're going to do? I mean, they can't start a revolution. You just can't do it nowadays.
No.
You guys won't even get rid of your king.
Yeah.
Come on.
But I also believe that might be the you might need a moment like that to get a revolution nowadays, Pezza.
You can't. I mean, even if you're not going to get everyone. You're not going to get a majority of people in the streets fighting for things that people aren't going to participate in something that dangerous. So you're going to end up with the minority, and what they're saying is we want to overthrow the system. So they're going to overthrow the armed forces, the police, the secret services, the covert agencies of the country, them, the theys, and everyone's that they think are too powerful. I mean, how are they going to do that?
Can I explain? Did you not hear what I said? I said maybe something like that event of the government or the police or all the other people you name harming the people of England, that might be the only, the little spark they need to say, hey, maybe something is going on, and that to stand up. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I think though you need a lot more people, because don't forget their big march in London that they had, advertised for months, and it was this great big world-beating event, and they got about 125,000 people. Well, and they're people who will turn up on a Saturday afternoon in London to a march. You're not going to get that same number of people who are going to turn up to some sort of violent revolution. And you need, 10 times that amount, right? You need a vast amount of people.
I think he's trying to recreate that Marvel V for Vendetta.
There's approximately 32,000 police officers in London.
Yeah.
Right, but if there's ever any inkling of any kind of gathering there, they ship them in from all over the country.
Yeah, they do.
It costs thousands as well.
And like you say, there's a chunk of them that are armed, and these people aren't armed as far as we know.
Right.
And then the armed forces.
Yeah, it's just it's fantasy. It's all just fantasy. It's Danny Tommo just feeling that he's got to be doing something, but of course he isn't.
I mean, they're a long way away from, should we say, getting the armed forces to turn their backs on the government.
Right.
You've got to have something pretty substantive you've got to have a pretty substantive revolution for that.
Right.
And I mean, your guys' opinions definitely carry weight. You are citizens of there, so I take your word at it. But
well, don't forget, it's not an accident that the royal family are always in all of the branches of the armed forces. You know, that they usually do some sort of stint in them. Then they get honorary officer appointments in various regiments and things. So that's not an accident. That's been going on for centuries, and there's a reason that they do that, because they want to keep the army on side.
Yeah, I mean, but this isn't a discussion about their reasons for wanting a revolution, and I'm not really, I'm just saying, I'm talking about the logistics of what they were trying to achieve, and I think they're just so far off being in a position to tip up the establishment.
But like I say, it's more entitlement, isn't it? I live in a democracy, and I'm entitled to have my guy win. And if my guy didn't win, that means something went wrong that I need to revolt against. No, you just lost.
They gotta fix it.
The other side won. It's as simple as that. People were absolutely fucked off with right-wing politics that they'd had fucking 12 years off.
This is American politics simmering over to you guys again.
Yeah. Yeah, because, a couple of years ago, I was playing clip after clip of Americans saying all this shit, right?
Yep.
We need, you guys start it and I'll be there. And they were all like that. None of them were the one that was going to kick it off, but they were all happy to join it if somebody else did. Anyway, let's move on. I touched on this in a previous show, but here is a longer look, since it's only a couple of weeks until gravity is switched off for 7 seconds. Enjoy.
Dr. Thomas Webb noticed the anomaly at 2:47 a.m. LIGO had detected gravitational waves before, ripples in space-time from black hole collisions billions of light years away. By the time these waves reached Earth, they were faint, barely detectable. Interesting to physicists, invisible to everyone else. This wave was different. Two black holes had collided 1.3 billion years ago. The resulting gravitational wave had been traveling toward Earth ever since. That part was normal, but LIGO's sensors showed something unusual in the wave's path. A dark matter filament 800 light years long. The wave had passed through it like light through a magnifying glass. Focused, amplified, aimed directly at Earth. Webb checked the path again. The wave would reach Earth on August 12th. He ran the amplitude calculations 3 times. For 7 seconds, everything on the surface of the planet would be weightless. He sent his findings to Dr. Minji Park, his former graduate advisor at MIT. She was the only person he trusted to check his math. Park didn't respond.
Minji, I really need you to call me back.
2 days later, Webb's paper was retracted. His data access was suspended. His university placed him on administrative leave. On February 14th, Thomas Webb walked out of his apartment. His car was found 3 days later at a rest stop in New Mexico. Engine still running. Thomas Webb was never seen again. Dr. Park received a flash drive a week later, no return address. She opened it, ran the calculations, and understood why Tom sounded so paranoid. She copied everything to 3 separate servers. Then she started making phone calls. And within 48 hours, Dr. Park would be dead.
If you're reading this, I was right. August 12th, 1433 UTC. Get underground. Hold on to something they've known for years. TW.
For 2025, a document started circulating on encrypted channels. The header read, Project Anchor Gravitational Discontinuity Event Executive Summary. The document was marked classified at a level above top secret. It described a global emergency program with an $89 billion budget and one terrifying purpose: preparing humanity for a moment when Earth's gravity would temporarily cease to exist. The date was precise: August 12, 2026, 1433 UTC. For about 7 seconds, the gravitational force holding everything to the planet would drop to zero. And according to the document, NASA identified this threat in 2019. Deep space monitoring stations detected 2 gravitational wave signatures converging. These waves come from merging black holes a billion light years away. And when they intersect near Earth's orbital position in August 2026, the interference pattern will briefly cancel out our planet's gravitational field. The probability assessment in the document was 94.7%. That's not speculation, that's a certainty.
The idea that something like that is absolutely coming, and there will be a mass event, and then there will have to be, people will have to survive after that event. I don't have any doubt that that is coming. So that takes me to the idea of these gravity stabilizers. As far as I know, the government says, you know, we don't have we don't fuck with gravity. We don't know what y'all talking about. We don't have gravity stabilizers, and we don't have anti-gravity. Like, or they speak about it like, we don't know not much, just a little. We've done a little research, but no, we don't know nothing. They do that kind of little shtick about it. But we know they've been toying with gravity, playing with gravity a lot. So it wouldn't surprise me if they had something like gravity stabilizers. I'm getting somewhere, stay with me. It wouldn't surprise me if they had things that either stabilize, maybe not gravity, but hydrobuoyancy, hydromagnetism, the atmosphere. I wouldn't doubt if there are devices that can stabilize the atmosphere, because I believe the reset's to be plasma based, something to do with the plasma and the molecules. So all that being said, this takes me to 15-minute cities.
So apparently NASA has debunked Project Anchor and the fact that there will be 7 seconds of no gravity on August 12th of this year. Well, looky what I found. On August 12th of 2026, there will be a total solar eclipse. Just wait till I tell you where the path of totality is. The solar eclipse will best be viewed around Iceland, Greenland, and Spain. Greenland! But this is even crazier. The total solar eclipse on August 12, 2026 will arc near the North Pole, passing south as it travels from Siberia over the Arctic Ocean. Apparently, this will cause unusual movement because it goes over the pole from east to west. The path time jumps backward, creating a time traveler effect. Huh? Now, this is a rare one, people. It will be the first total solar eclipse visible in Iceland since June 30th, 1954. Oh, and it hasn't happened in Spain since August 30th, 1905. This thing's gonna cause a time traveler effect at the magnetic North Pole. But there's more. The eastern half of Greenland, where the totality will be, is uninhabitable. To the east in the path of totality, you'll find only military bases. Weird. If you want to get really deep, the bright star Regulus should be visible during the total solar eclipse. To the east of the sun. Egypt, anybody? Everything's coming together. But anyways, I better quit talking before I get a knock on the door. Is this going to happen? I'm not sure. But all signs say maybe, just maybe.
If you notice objects beginning to lift around you, you must follow this protocol immediately. First, do not jump. Do not run. Any upward momentum will carry you into the ceiling or the open sky. Grab onto something anchored to the earth. A metal pole, a large tree, or a fixed structure. Do not hold onto other people. You will only pull each other into the air. Second, keep your body low. Wrap your arms and lock your legs around your anchor. The goal is friction, not strength. Third, do not look up. Light objects will rise faster than you, and when gravity returns, they will fall first. If you are indoors, stay away from windows and move to a doorway or a corner. If you are in a city, stay away from open streets. Falling debris is the primary threat. The danger is not the rise, but the snap back. After exactly 7.3 seconds, gravity will not return smoothly. It will slam everything back to the ground at once. These reports remain unconfirmed by official sources. However, if the ground ever loses its pull, you will want to remember this procedure.
how far can you float in 7 seconds? Well, some guys did the math, and they basically came up with roughly between 120 and 150 feet in the air in 7 seconds. So that's relatively high. We're talking, if it's 150 feet, that's, 15 stories high. So when the gravity switches back on, you would fall 15 stories, which nobody would survive that, really. They have estimated that if this event occurs, between 40 and 60 million people will die. Now, I'm not here to fearmonger and all that. I just want to talk about this conspiracy. So here's what's interesting, is I did this video months and months and months ago. I believe it was probably in January, maybe, when I first heard about it. And at that time, I looked into it. Okay? And you can watch my video. And even Alexa was saying how there was no known holidays. If you asked her how many days until Christmas of this year, she was replying that there was no holidays scheduled for 2026 at Christmas time. And when I researched it, there was absolutely no talk about an eclipse. All of a sudden today, if you look into it, they're saying that we are going to have a full eclipse on August 12th. Also, there was no mention of an eclipse when I first did this video. So that has to make you think, where did they just all of a sudden just realize we're going to have an eclipse? I mean, the Mayan calendar, they fully fucking have said how many eclipses we were going to have and when they predicted them all. And they've been right. So what, they just didn't know until that we were going to have a full-on eclipse? Really weird. I think it's the rapture, but that's my opinion. I'm going to do more videos on this, so stay tuned.
Oops, it ended.
Well, I'm scared. I'm actually pretty scared.
Yeah. If you're on the equator.
I looked it up, Pazza, real quick. 14:33 UTC is 9:33 Eastern Standard Time, so grab on, fellas.
Well, the thing is if gravity ceased to exist, and then no one trying to adequately explain how a wave passing through the solar system is going to cause that to happen, because it won't. If you were on the equator, which is where it would be worse for you, because you wouldn't be if gravity ceased to exist, you would go start getting flown off because of that, because there'd be no force, so you just stay where you are. However, the centrifugal and the centripetal forces would mean that you would start moving in a straight line. You would no longer follow the Earth, and in 7 seconds, you would move off the Earth's surface, where everything would on the equator, a breathtaking 2.7 feet. If you were in
this could be fun then. This could be cool.
If you were in Canada or the UK, there's a very good chance you might spill your tea.
I want to know how they know that these gravitational waves are coming when they travel at the speed of light, and they've known for years that these things are traveling towards us. How does that work? We can only detect them with LIGO,
Right.
Apparently, if the shadow of a solar eclipse doesn't go the same way as the sun and the moon, then there's time travel involved.
Yeah, it's a time travel effect. And Greenland? It goes over Greenland?
They've known about this eclipse for years. I know someone in Spain has been looking forward to it for at least 5 years.
I don't know. I mean, it's just... I better stop talking in case I get a knock on the door. Yeah, right.
I'm just saying, guys, it sounds pretty awesome when you listen to it. You really get sucked in. I see what happened to Gypsy,
Oh, it's fantastic.
And it's at 10:30, Rob. You have to account for daylight savings time. So,
all right, a gravity lesson now, brought to you by a new old friend of the show, Natter Problem, who is also confused by the sun.
Class, let's be absolutely clear. Gravity is the fundamental universal force of attraction. It provides a constant downwards acceleration of 9.8 meters per second squared that acts upon all mass in all environments. It is the glue of our reality. Any questions?
Yes, Mrs. Global, I've got a question. If gravity acts on all mass equally, why does a balloon filled with air fall, but a balloon of the exact same size filled with helium ignores gravity and floats up to the ceiling?
It does not ignore it, Natalie. This is basic fluid dynamics. The helium inside the balloon is less dense than the volume of atmospheric air it displaces. Therefore, the upward buoyant force overpowers the downward gravitational pull. Gravity is still actively pulling on the helium atoms.
So the medium dictates the movement then? Does that apply to water too? Because an egg sinks in fresh water, but it floats in salt water.
Naturally, because adding salt increases the density of the water. When the fluid's density surpasses the object's density, the upward force wins. But gravity is still what gives the egg its weight to begin with. The 9.8 metres per second squared is a permanent fixture, Natalie.
A pound of wood floats, a pound of steel sinks. Exact same mass. Where's the constant pull?
The steel is simply more compact, so it displaces less fluid. You're confusing buoyancy with the fundamental force of attraction. If we place that wood, that steel and your helium balloon into a vacuum chamber, they would all fall down to the floor at the exact same rate. That proves gravity.
But a vacuum chamber just removes the air. It doesn't remove gravity, because how can gravity be removed? How can you remove something that you can't detect or isolate? When you remove the medium, which in this instance is air, all objects fall at the same rate because they're simply denser than the void. The mass of those objects didn't change because the air was removed.
It's the equivalence principle. Gravity accelerates all mass equally.
Gravity is nothing more than relative density, Mrs. Global. If something is more dense than its surrounding medium, it falls. If it's less dense, it rises. And that rule applies to all mediums and all matter. Name something on Earth that breaks the rule of relative density. Give me just one example of something more dense than its medium that rises, or something less dense that falls.
Well, you have to look at the bigger picture. In the vacuum of outer space, where there is no medium, gravity is absolutely essential. The 9.8 metres per second squared calculation is how we understand gravitational fields and planetary orbits.
I specifically said on Earth. Outer space is not relevant, because even if such a place does exist, you'll never go there, will you? I'll never go there. So if relative density perfectly explains every single reaction here in the real world, why do we have to calculate for the vacuum of space when we're here on Earth?
Have a great weekend, everyone, and I'll see you Monday. Well done, class.
Saved by the bell, Mrs. Globell. Have a good weekend. You expect me to believe that that is the sun? The same sun that we've grew up with our whole life? And you're expecting me to believe that that's it? There's blue light coming through the clouds. The first break in the clouds we've had all day. All day. And I goes outside and I could see this with my own eyes, this white disc. It's no camera trick, I can see it with my eyes. Right? And this is meant to be the sun. What? Since when did the sun look like that? That is not the sun, by the way. That is not the sun. I'd put money on it. That's not the sun. And there's no scientific name or explanation for it. Apparently. It's getting passed off as diffraction and atmospheric bullshit. That is not the sun.
Yep, there's no scientific explanation for her made-up crap.
That had a great soundtrack.
She got that teacher though, didn't she? Good and proper.
Oh, it's just. Ugh.
If Jem's saying something, we can't hear him because he's muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I muted so I could type.
I mean,
you know what they say: if you're going to be dumb, you got to be pretty.
Yeah, and she's pretty dumb. I mean, she's going about things being more dense than surroundings. I mean, that's probably most
she's
true.
really-
She was last at school.
And she's really dense, though, that's for sure.
And there's no scientific explanation for her made-up fantasy about the sun not being the sun.
There you go. All of her requirements.
Yeah.
That's not the sun. Well, show us where the sun is then. What's lighting up the sky? It's getting to the point where you see this stuff, you think, yeah, okay, go on, carry on living your life doing this.
It's a giant firefly.
It doesn't make any difference, is it, what these people do, really?
You're better men than I am, because I wasn't even listening to her.
Okay, Carl Adams presents his love, Mark Sargent, now, and Mark's killer argument for gas pressure being contained.
I love Mark Sargent. He is not crude or vulgar, he is super friendly and really positive, and according to Rob Skiba, Mark Sargent was the guy who recruited him into Flat Earth. So gotta love him for that. Anyway, recently he was interviewed on Odysee Radio. The whole interview was about an hour and a half, and in it he said something that was so good I had to share it. Also, his radio interview didn't have any visuals, so I thought, I've got to add some visuals to this. So, here you go. Enjoy.
Let's say, for example, the second floor of where you live right now, you turned into a little vacuum chamber, right? You know, like 20 feet by 30 feet or whatever, right? And you put a valve above your head and a lever, and you pull that lever. What happens? It's not like the movies. It is instant. It is violent. The air will absolutely equalize in a fraction of a second. You know, any deep sea diver will tell you this. Anybody that works on oil rigs, any submarine people, they will all tell you this. It is extremely violent. Pressure next to non-pressure, even though you can't see it. You know, like right now, what we're breathing in right now is not nothing. It's 80% nitrogen and 20% oxygen, right? So what happens when you pull that valve above your head? It just fires up instantly. And in fact, you'll probably black out. You might even die.
And so right when it gets to full vacuum, this mylar will rupture, and so it will be a catastrophic sudden failure, which will simulate what would happen if you were in space and suddenly the wall behind you got blown out. Whoa!
So when you go outside, why is our atmosphere still here? You know what I mean? Meaning our atmosphere sits right next to the vacuum of space, the purest vacuum of space. I've talked to vacuum chamber experts. You know, and when you have a pure vacuum, it's like orders of magnitude even stronger. So your first and only knee-jerk response to that will be gravity. Gravity. Oh, gravity is obviously holding the air down. I go, you mean the same gravity that couldn't keep the air in your living room from rushing upstairs? That gravity? The exact same gravity? Mm-hmm. And then people kind of get stuck because they know, science says, well, it has to be gravity, otherwise we'd be dead. And I go, that's not how the logic works. What is the barrier? And they say gravity. And I go, gravity is not a barrier. Tell me what happens when you get to the bleeding edge of space, where our atmosphere ends and space begins. Tell me what happens. No science can tell me. They're just stuck. And they just say, well, it's got to be gravity. And that's the end of the discussion. It's like, and it's because it's the only option for them. I go, other than being a pressurized system, that we're living inside a dome. We're living inside a snow globe that's holding the air in. I mean, there's a reason why they call it air pressure. Oh, and while we're at it, there's a reason why they call it greenhouse gases. Doesn't it make more sense if it's an actual physical greenhouse? I never understood that even before I was into flat Earth. Like when fluorocarbons, when we were talking about the ozone layer, we're banning styrofoam things at McDonald's, and we're banning underarm aerosol deodorants because the fluorocarbons get up to the atmosphere, they just stay there. Yeah. And as I'm getting older, I'm going, how do they stay there? So anyway, that's my big cling to. But most people, it takes them a while because again, a vacuum is invisible. You could be sitting in a vacuum chamber right now and visibly, because of our spectrum, what we can see and what we can't see, no one would know.
So that's a very convincing argument. That's very interesting because you would think if gravity is, and I'm not a scientist, I'm a science nerd wannabe.
Sure.
But it seems like so the gravity would have to be more powerful than the vacuum that exists within space to suck in or hold in this system so that so that space didn't just rip us apart, right?
Right. And there's no examples of that. I mean, and you can defy gravity all day long. When you're like, take a straw into a drink, right? Whatever it is, iced tea, soda, it doesn't matter. Like, you are going against gravity. You are creating a small vacuum force and to drink that liquid, right? It's easy. A vacuum force will beat gravity every day of the week. But that's not what we see when we watch television and movies. It's always the same thing, right? There's a hole in the side of the spaceship, right? It's like, oh, Lord, we're decompressing. We only got 2 minutes of air left, right? Get the duct tape, and it's this race against the clock. It's like, no, it's instant. I mean, it's a fraction of a second. And if you ever see that in a space movie, which is why I know it kind of dates me, the James Cameron movie Aliens from years ago, right? The end where Ripley opens up that door to space. Right, everything's getting sucked out. She's fighting, climbing the ladder. No. She's dead. The little girl's dead. The alien's dead. The Marines are dead. Everybody's dead. Movie's over. Roll the credits.
We can only have a pressurized atmosphere so long as there is a container. The existence of our atmosphere proves there is a firmament above our heads. Thanks for watching, everyone. Love you, Mark. If you'd like to see his interview in full, here's a link to that.
I probably should have ended that a bit sooner, shouldn't I?
I was thinking that, but
no, the end music there was the nicest part of it, frankly.
It's Mark's same old fucking argument. I don't know why Kyle's suddenly making such a big deal out of it, like it's some killer blow.
They get a little pinhole in the big ISS, and all the air immediately rushes out the little pinhole.
Right.
Got it.
It's instant.
But obviously, Aliens, the film Aliens, gives us all we need to know about physics.
Right. I saw that. I saw that documentary. It was a good one.
Yeah. And also, I mean, do you notice that not once did he mention a pressure gradient?
Right, not once.
Right.
Not once.
Oh,
I wonder why.
Science just hasn't got an answer. He asks what happens at the fringe of space, and they just don't have an answer.
No, they don't have an answer.
There really is no fringe of space. I mean, it goes down to zero, and then it's almost zero, and then it just goes.
But his thinking is clearly vacuums suck. And the one in space is the most vacuumy vacuum, so it sucks more.
Oh, it's 50 times stronger than the vacuum in a lab, Jem.
Right.
50 times stronger.
Yeah. I don't know why they get this idea that nothing is capable of exerting forces on something.
Yeah. Right, a big negative number must mean it's bigger, right? In fact, with a negative exponent, it means that it's even more negative.
But they don't understand that a perfect vacuum against, say, 1 psi imposes exactly the same forces as a 1 psi vacuum against a 2 psi wall.
Right. Your normal tire is pressurized to twice, relative to it's 28 psi. Let's say it's twice the atmosphere, and those things.
Yeah.
I mean,
a useful analogy could also be as a fish swimming in a lake. Even though there's air above the water, or the water doesn't suddenly leap into the sky, gravity holds the water in its place, similar to the way that it holds the Earth's atmosphere around the planet.
Yeah.
Okay. And the gradient pretty much kills him. And you can demonstrate the gradient if you have with your cell phone and just raise it, put it at the desk, raise it above your head, it goes down for some reason. That there's no barrier between those two pressure points.
Right.
They think a vacuum sucks. That's what in their brain they think vacuum and they think sucking pressure because they do that box experiment. Look at it sucking in, but that's not what space is doing because space isn't actually even a perfect vacuum. There's tons of stuff in space, relative to how big it is.
Well, if a vacuum's a thing can do anything. Therefore.
All right, let's move on. The ever so humble fittest flat earther now, and his interactions with and theories about Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers.
The first thing I wanted to do when I get home was just do like a detox fast. And as I'm doing this, guys, I get revelations hourly, daily, like crazy, even when I'm not fasting. But when I fast, it's sometimes I almost have to stop fasting because it it's too much. My wife will sometimes, Liza will be like, will you just eat something? Because like, I'm like an antenna. I just like, when I fast, the antenna goes up and it's like unfiltered truth just coming at me. One of the things that just hit me like smack in the face was Aaron Rodgers. I had made a few videos on him and he started following me. He DM'd me once and I did a video on him being Jeff Hostetler, the former Giants quarterback. And I saw that I sent it to him and I saw that he saw it and he didn't respond. So like, it literally just started with me being like, oh, that no response. Like I put in all this work and I don't even get a response. And then he responded. And then from that point, we chatted a lot. We had like a few days in a row where we were texting back and forth the majority of the day. And I felt like it was a chess match. Like he was like testing to see what bullcrap conspiracies I believed in versus what real stuff I believed in. I told him I was considering maybe going to watch him play when he comes to Tampa because the Steelers are playing the Bucks. And it even got to the point where he offered me tickets to the game, you know? So like we're buddies and I don't know why. Like I am so observant. I feel like I see so much and I pick up on the small things and the big things. But Aaron Rodgers has on his Instagram profile, he's a Jedi. He's literally holding a lightsaber and he's a Jedi as his username. There was a side-by-side of Aaron and Mark Hamill, aka Luke Skywalker. And I also have, for people watching, I also have Aaron's profile picture of Instagram pulled up with him. And you can't see, he's holding a lightsaber, but you can't see it. And when I saw this picture of Mark Hamill the other day when fasted, I just was like, I just saw it, you know, like it was like I was looking at Aaron and it like, I was like, holy crap, you know, Aaron literally was, when I first did a video on Aaron being Herman Munster, he basically gave me like Herman Munster, really, dude? Like that's the best you got? And at first I thought it was like Herman Munster, he was denying it, but no, it was more of a, that's the best you got. Like I'm so many more people, so many more prominent people, and you give me Herman Munster, probably like the least important of his characters or the least prominent. So I see this and I'm like, holy freaking Batman crap. Aaron Rodgers was Luke Skywalker. Like literally Aaron is Mark Hamill. And then what does that trigger in me? Well, I've done a video on how Mark Hamill in Star Wars is Lucifer in the movie. How Mark Hamill is Lucifer in Star Wars. Actually, in the video, I showed that Luke was also, or that Mark Hamill was also Sebastian Stan, who's Bucky. But I like Aaron Rodgers wasn't on my radar, all that. So I'm like, holy freaking crap. Aaron Rodgers is Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill played Lucifer in that movie and, you know, like played Luke, but Lucifer. And then, you know, like I thought to the Avengers again. I've done a video on how when I first woke up, you realize that the Avengers are representation of the fallen angels. And Thanos is God. But then when you wake up even more, especially based on all the work I do, you realize that the fallen angels in the movies aren't just a representation, or the Avengers aren't just a representation of the fallen angels. They are the fallen angels. You know, Robert Downey Jr. is a fallen angel. He used to be Bill Bixby. Thor is a fallen angel. He used to be Patrick Swayze. And I also found Patrick Swayze's prior role. I'm really sure he's Paul Newman. I got to do a video on that. But so I have that mindset going of, holy crap, the fallen angels actually play the Avengers. And then I started thinking, no, you know, like I know Lucifer is Trump and Elvis and all these different musicians. He's been Angus Young and Mick Jagger and Eminem. But I know that all these shapeshifters also like to get in sports. So I start thinking to myself, no, like, there's no way Aaron is Lucifer, right? There's no way. So what do? I go looking for the two marks. And if you're familiar, guys, with my videos, if you're someone who's watched a lot of my work, Well, Lucifer always has the 2 marks on his chin that go from top left, diagonal down to right. Lucifer has it, or Elvis has it, Trump has it, Mick Jagger has it, Eminem has it. The Statue of Liberty original face has it. The 1848 statue of Lucifer has it. And I go to Aaron, and sure enough, Aaron freaking Rodgers has those exact 2 marks. I'm like in my mind, I'm sold on it, but I'm not convinced. I'm not able to like digest this yet. I'm like, holy crap. Is this real? Like, am I reaching for this? Am I like not wanting? I don't want it, but I'm like in a weird way is like, it's like, am I forcing this? I heard a clip of Aaron Rodgers talking once, and I was like, I know that voice. And lately my ears have been so in tune, and I knew that voice, and I was riding my bike and it finally hit me. I was like, that's Keanu Reeves' voice. I was like, Aaron and Keanu have the same voice. And then it clicked on me that I remembered Aaron had been Keanu Reeves. He had been John Wick for Halloween. And they always tell us, right? They always tell us some way. And then Aaron had also been Hal L, who was in Happy Gilmore. You know, Happy Gilmore played by Ben Stiller, the Hal L character. Hal L is Lucifer. Well, Aaron Rodgers also played or dressed as Hal L for Halloween. And I don't think it was that he was trying to be Ben Stiller. I think he was telling us that he's Lucifer. And then also Keanu Reeves, his favorite team is the Steelers. And Keanu Reeves is in the movie The Devil's Advocate. And in the movie, Keanu Reeves isn't supposed to be the devil. He's supposed to be like the son of the devil. And Al Pacino is the devil. But the movie's called The Devil's Advocate. And I literally think it's showing us that Keanu is one of Lucifer's characters and Aaron Rodgers is one of Lucifer's characters. And with the work I'm doing, you know, like I'm a humble dude, but I really think, and especially with how many of them talk to me, you know, like if I was just blowing smoke and crazy conspiracies, like all these famous people wouldn't be talking to me, and they all respond. They all, you know, freaking Lamar's in my comments, Michael Phelps is in my comments, Aaron, Patrick Mahomes, all these different celebrities, Jake Gyllenhaal, these different people respond to me because they all know what I'm doing is true. They all know what I'm doing is super important. And, you know, I had people in my Facebook group saying like, of course they wouldn't send a minion. Of course the devil would come to you himself. And what does the devil come as? He comes as a friend, an angel of light. He doesn't come bearing his horns. And if you know me at all, I've been a huge football and NFL fan my entire life. What better way for the devil to try to befriend me than to offer me NFL tickets, to be kind to me, to try to relate to me by being a conspiracy guy. Aaron Rodgers is a conspiracy guy. Now, like, I'm not sitting here trying to say that I'm this like all important, super important person, but I think the work I'm doing is. And I truly think there's a chance that Aaron is a Lucifer character. And guys, this picture here, for those of you watching, I truly might even think that he's Lucifer shapeshifted to look like me, like a mockery, or like they're needling me. Like if you look at these 2 pictures, that's Aaron and that's me. And if you know anything about me and how I woke up because God showed me that there were dogs and stars. Do you know what Keanu Reeves' band name is? Dog Star, guys. I'm the guy that showed the world that there are dogs and stars. Keanu Reeves' band name is Dog Stars.
He showed the world that there are dogs in stars, and he's a humble guy.
Why aren't we getting AI linked up to the internet to start, you know, triggering off psychiatric help when it's needed?
It's unbelievable, isn't it? The shit that he comes out with, and and he calls it work, making shit up about people like this.
Are you sure he's not some paid actor by someone else?
Did anybody follow that argument? Anybody at all?
No.
I lost about 3 minutes into it.
But what got me was that Mark Hamill and Aaron Rodgers side by side that he'd got. Clearly, Aaron Rodgers has got a longer, narrower face than Mark Hamill. Very, very, very obviously. So I don't know what.
You guys have those.
How
you
he
guys have
couldn't
the
see
Snickers
that.
commercials where they say if you're hungry, eat a Snickers. You're not yourself. I think he needs to eat a Snickers instead of just.
Yeah, maybe that's the answer.
He can't be putting all this on his family Facebook. Surely they just can't be sitting by watching this idly go by.
Well, funnily enough, actually, in this live stream, what he was talking about before this was how he'd gone and spent some time with his family. And his family really don't like his conspiracy stuff, and they think he's a bit bonkers with it. But while he spent time with his family, he had 2 instances where he was recognized by, I don't know, he went to play golf, and when they got to the golf course, they sort of paired up with some other guys that were playing golf to have a game. And one of these guys recognized him. And then on another occasion, he took his dogs out to the front of the house, and he was just standing there, and a guy jogged past, and he just said hello to him as he was passing. And the guy slowed to a halt and came back and said, "Can I get a selfie with you?" and all of this. And his family sort of, were witness to some of this, and he reckoned that earned him some brownie points with his family, made him seem a bit more credible,
Well, he's a famous lunatic rather than just a lunatic.
Right. But these people, I guess, appreciate his lunacy, and thought he was cool for it. So I just don't know what's wrong with people. People are mental.
Everybody is everybody else.
Yeah.
It's somehow this is just taken as normal now that you can go online and everyone says different people to other people.
Right.
And everyone just thinks, oh, this is fine. And the people like this, he thinks virtually everybody is everybody else. And no one bats an eye. What's happened? What's happened?
And not just one person. Everybody's, each person is several other people.
But y'all know there are people on this server who think what he's saying is perfectly reasonable, right?
I don't know. Maybe Gypsy, maybe. And of course, Pete Shea was very much one of those.
More than that, Jim. More than that. But.
I don't know anyone else.
Wait, the one question that they could never adequately answer it, right, is if you control everything, why do you have to have people that look at other people?
Right.
What's the reason why you have to do that? Can't you just have loads of different people who aren't each other running the show?
Doesn't make any sense, does it? Okay, I don't know what Matt Dillahunty's show is called these days. Is it still the Atheist Experience? I don't know. Anyway, Matt gave short shrift to a poor unfortunate flatty who wandered onto his show. Take a look.
But it's important to point out the absolute epic failure of skepticism and reasonable epistemology. Every single person who has an apparitional experience that they attribute to Jesus is concrete evidence that people have experiences that they attribute to Jesus. It is not concrete evidence that their attribution is correct. And similarly, as we observe meteors and begin to investigate them, that's concrete evidence that there are meteors. That's not concrete evidence of their origin. Erica has just gone into the similarities and not to mention the fact that we have geosynchronous satellites orbiting the oblate spheroid Earth, not the flat Earth, and that everything about mathematics and gravity and I'm going to guess you don't believe in gravity since that's part of what gets thrown out too. But if you think that
you don't need gravity,
if you sorry, what?
According to Occam's razor, you don't need gravity, just density.
No. And thank you for demonstrating denseness for sure. But gravity is the description of mass's interaction, and the mathematics of gravity everything from the accretion disk from a sun that leads to the potential formation of planets. You just, when I took you off mute, just before we could even get to anything substantive, you just asserted we don't need gravity. Where is your expertise and your evidence that suggests that gravity isn't real?
By my observation, that a pencil will fall when I let go of it, not because of gravity, but Occam's razor says the fewest
No,
amount
sir.
of steps to a conclusion.
No, sir. No, sir. I'm going to mute you again. First of all, you're not going to misrepresent what Occam's razor said. Occam's razor says not to multiply entities unnecessarily. You and I can both let go of a pen and observe that it falls in a particular direction. You do not get to assert that that is not a demonstration of gravity. You have to prove that it's not a demonstration of gravity. How do you prove that me letting go of a pen and it falling down is not a demonstration of gravity?
Am I unmuted?
Yes, that's what happens when I ask you a question. It's then your turn to talk. And because I'm an expert who's done this for 20 years, I know to take you off mute before I ask you the question, which is why you also heard a beep. So what's your demonstration that a pin falling to earth is not a demonstration of gravity?
Because it's more dense than the oxygen around it. That's why it falls, not because of, I don't need gravity to explain it.
I don't even know where to begin with that. And let me guess, you do
Is
think
it
the
not
Earth is
true that dense objects go down and helium is lighter than oxygen, so it goes up?
Well, why does it go down, sir?
Because it's more dense than the oxygen around it.
It's more
Sure.
dense than the oxygen around it. Why doesn't it go up? It's more dense than that too. As a matter of fact, as you proceed into the upper atmosphere, it becomes less and less
That
dense.
was my
Why is it
question as
moving
well.
towards the thing? Why is it moving towards the thing that is more massive and more dense than the area that is less massive and less dense? Why is it going that direction?
Because dense objects go down, less dense
No, sir.
objects go up.
No,
Where's
sir.
the gravity
No,
with the helium
sir.
balloon?
There's absolutely nothing in the
No.
realm of science. There's nothing in the realm of physics that say dense objects go down. When you're talking about buoyancy, which is what essentially what you're doing, and whether or not something denser will float or whatever, that's fluid dynamics, and it would suggest that things would float up because they're floating towards the least dense. So your model is absolutely flawed because you don't understand either what the science says about density or buoyancy or fluid dynamics, and you're doing all of that in order to dismiss gravity with your flawed understanding of Occam's razor. You have it absolutely wrong. You are engaged in what I would call fractal wrongness. You are wrong at every conceivable resolution.
Can you explain to me then why gravity doesn't operate on a helium balloon, but it operates on, say, a table?
Gravity absolutely operates on a helium balloon, just like everything else. The gravity is the interaction between events relative to both the distance between them and proportional to their mass. When you see a helium balloon rise, it's not because it has defied gravity, but because the helium, its buoyancy, carries it into the upper atmosphere. It is still there is still the force of gravity acting on it, directing it towards the largest mass around, which is Earth. In the same way that we can launch a spacecraft out of there, we can provide sufficient acceleration such that we can escape gravity's pull on that object that holds it to the Earth. This is all like kindergarten and first grade science stuff, maybe a little bit more than that, but
You're
yeah.
comparing
And
a
I'm not
space
even a
shuttle to a
scientist.
balloon with no jet propulsion.
What was that?
I said it sounds like you're comparing a space shuttle and a lot of gas to a balloon with helium in it that has no kind of jet
Yes,
propulsion pushing it against what you're
I compared two things that both can demonstrate that they can overcome the default pull of an object and the Earth towards each other. You can either do that by filling the object with a gas that causes it to be buoyant, or you can do it by propelling an object with a gas that gives it enough speed to break past gravity's pull. It's not the same thing at all.
You're saying it has nothing to do with the fact that the helium is less dense than the oxygen around it?
Jason, I literally just explained to you that the helium is providing that buoyancy because it's less dense, and there are other ways to overcome the pull of gravity as well by using a fuel source.
Jason, why is gravity consistent? Why is the pull of gravity a consistent measurement regardless of what's being dropped, regardless of where it's being dropped on the surface of planet Earth, excluding extremely high heights?
Why does a
is
feather
gravity-
and a
I'm not
bowling
sure that
ball?
gravity-
Why does a feather and a feather in a vacuum and a bowling ball fall at 9.8 meters per second squared near the Earth? Why does it? Are they equally buoyant? Are they equally massive? They're not.
The
Your
mass of a
model is
bowling ball
flawed,
is
and
more
this
than
is
the mass.
no, Jason. This is embarrassingly bad. This is the basics of science that you are. I can't even take you seriously, and I apologize for that because I'm not just sitting here. It's not my goal to go, oh, here's another prank caller, here's another troll. But when you don't know the basics of buoyancy and you're using that to deny gravity, when you don't know the basics of science and you're using that to deny gravity in order to hold up a notion of a flat Earth, you are beyond preposterous. And I don't know how to continue from here.
How is it if the Earth is curved that we can see directly across flat water, which is always flat? How can we see lengths? How can we see buildings at distances that should be hundreds or even thousands of feet below the curve of the Earth? How is that possible if the Earth is round?
First of all, Jason, the Earth is huge, so that's why over short, very small water bodies that happens. But over large water bodies, and you can see this yourself with offshore wind turbines, right? On wind farms and things like that. What you're talking about does happen. The height of the wind fan actually does disappear below the curve. You can see this for yourself.
I would recommend you go over to my. I would recommend you stop talking. I would recommend you go watch my friend Simon Dan's channel, where he explains this stuff over and over and over again. Every time some scientifically illiterate flat earther demonstrates. You remember when the flat earthers put together, they were going to go out and try and measure whether or not there was a curve, and their measurements showed that there was.
Yeah, the laser pointer and the platforms. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Oh,
yeah, Jason.
It lines up and it comes out exactly what the math shows for this. I mean, we've known this since before we understood anything about electricity. Eratosthenes measured the curvature of the Earth by using shadows of sticks and shadows in wells. We did this before we could turn on a light bulb. The fact that you in 2024 are using a cellular device going through geosynchronous satellites to communicate to us that you don't think gravity is real, that the Earth is flat, that there's not a curve. This is embarrassingly bad. If you want to call yourself a skeptic, everyone should point and laugh.
The distance.
Thanks for the call, though, Jason.
People are able to.
Nope, you're done.
Well, that was a bit mean. Newbie debunkers, though. They're kind of a bit annoying, aren't they? Oh, shit. I forgot my thing again. That was a bit mean of Matt, wasn't it?
Yeah, just a bit mean.
Newbie debunkers are kind of a bit annoying, though, aren't they, really? When they start talking about Eratosthenes and, the Earth's really big.
A lot of them think that things don't fall in equal time in the vacuum chamber. They don't think that's necessarily true. So, there's that to contend with.
Right.
And then if they want to do buoyancy and they say, well, this thing falls through the air quicker than this thing because the ratio difference between the densities. That's why a lot of them don't like the idea of things falling the same way as a vacuum, because where's the ratios there?
But I think they're missing the point again when Matt Dillahunty says, go to my friend Simon Dunn's channel. Well, I don't believe that stuff. This isn't because they aren't educated. I mean, sometimes they aren't educated, but that isn't what causes it. It isn't fixed by educating them.
No. Yeah, you would think you would know that by now.
Right.
But he doesn't deal with it. Doesn't deal with it.
Has 2 liters of water and 1 liter water on a scale, and asking why the 2 liters of water weighs more when they have the same density. Yeah.
And just a side note, Matt Dillahunty is the reason I'm on this Discord right now. He's the reason I found you guys, because a while back I challenged a philosophical argument he was making on his atheist channel, and he dismissed me. And there's someone over at the atheist community told me to go on Discord, and I went to the atheist community Discord, and someone there pointed me to here. That's my path here.
I wonder why they did that.
Fucking Matt Dillahunty.
Yeah.
All right, some street activism now, with, of course, the only remaining Flatty Street activist, Mikey Smith. And this week, Mikey, who has set up shop outside a queue for a popular nightclub, is in for a big surprise. Take a look.
All right, we had another little conversation there, but she's all smiles and giggles. I don't know what these guys are doing, but what do you care? Let's put some money down on it. How about a $10,000 reward for proof of a globe? Anybody up for game? I can do anything. I don't even have the money, so why does it even matter? I'm not going to lose. I could save $15 kabillion. I'm not going to lose. As a gravitational force, everything is built by field. No, don't bring up. Okay, I can't argue with a guy. I can't argue with a guy. Gravity's a theory, brother. I can't. What the fuck? What the frick? Can I give you a hug at least? What the fuck are you doing here?
Give me a hug too. It's okay. Say hi.
What the fuck? You guys.
And we brought you gifts, so we know how much you want to measure. Flat Earth. We got you a level.
Cool. Yeah.
They put it on the flat on the Earth.
What the hell, guys?
We also, you're gonna love this. The goat soap for the greatest of all
whatever.
time.
Look at this, guys. Like, seriously.
The goat. The goat.
So what? Come on, explain this. When did you get here? How did you get here? Tell me.
Well,
I drove.
yeah, when you seemed kind of sad, we're like, we need to chat Mikey. So we immediately got airplane tickets, flew out.
And flew over the crew.
Yep. Something like that. And then we're like, let's chat Mikey. And we can take you out to Tim Hortons if you want.
What the hell?
Yep.
So are you live too or what?
I'm live.
I'm so embarrassed, guys. What the
Don't
frick?
be embarrassed. I already know that you think the Earth is flat. That's embarrassing enough. Can I spot the chicken?
Sure, go ahead.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The chicken.
Oh my God. I thought we would arrange something, not just a surprise.
Oh, no.
Well, what the hell? I don't know, man. Thank you for coming.
We've been in Regina all week. He thinks the Earth is flat. He's wrong.
I know it's flat.
I say the Earth is a globe. Go over here too. Always getting camera shy. Okay. So now, make your best case.
Well, we use water as a leveling tool in a spirit level. Okay. And a plumb bob measures the building straight up and down. So these buildings downtown here are straight up and down, with the ones in Calgary and Vancouver and Toronto.
And you measured that they're
I don't need to. I'm going to be Brenda right now. I don't need to do that. Yeah.
You need to.
They've already been. Look how straight up and down
they are. Absolutely.
That's physical.
So,
yeah.
That building and the building in Calgary are not the same building.
Oh boy.
What surveys? You see them on the side of the road, what it tells you? So, over 1,500 feet, you can take one of these.
Just let me know that you guys
get another one, and they can see that.
You guys know how this works.
Are not the same vertical.
Yes. I need my.
And the flat end will get between you and the sun? No.
For all engineers.
So you said you didn't know how to debunk it. There you go, the sunset.
Him and his sunset. You'll never win with that, McToon. Never.
Here, look at this.
Here,
let's do this.
Oh, this guy's a poo-poo head. McToon will never win. He's in a delusional state.
Took off the map here. Do you have a map on your Your flyer?
No.
This you get these from Nathan Thompson, right?
Yeah, and then I just put my name on them and changed a few things.
All right, so here's the circle. Okay. But so if you're here and the moon is above you.
Okay. Whatever, he can talk. I gotta rest my hernia. Yeah.
Yeah, the car's kind of neat. My cousin would really like that.
Hey, Roger, go fuck yourself, man. Go get some fucking real fucking evidence of what the fuck you're talking about, man. You and your fucking lazy ass fuckers on your live streams, go to fucking hell. You guys make up shit. You know, David Weiss is right. Flat earthers are stupid. You guys are fucking mental for anything. You assumed I was going on your live stream with a different fucking name. God, you guys are mental. Just fucking mental. Go talk with your boyfriends on your fucking live stream and go waste some more time. Unbelievable. Fucking bullshitters. Unfucking believable. There is no fucking real honest truther out there other than me. You guys are all fucktards. Go to hell. Are you wait? I'm gonna go. Are you waiting for your wife?
Yeah, my wife's coming, dude.
Yeah.
It's
All
been
right.
good.
Yeah.
I wish we could talk more. I was worried that you would you wouldn't even talk, so I didn't.
No, I'm not a jerk.
I know. I was just concerned. I didn't want you to get think I was gonna do something nefarious or not trust me or whatever.
Yeah.
So. And if you're ever coming through Minneapolis area, let me know and we can hang out and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, we can be friends even though we disagree.
These fucking morons, these truthers, they think we set this up.
Who did?
Fucking Roger. He's a fucking dork.
Ledwell?
Yeah, he's a fucking moron. He's fucking dense.
That's all right. You don't need him.
Yeah, no, I don't. I just
all right.
waste
Joanne?
my time.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
All right. Well,
All right, yeah, thanks for showing up, man. Is Russian ain't done talking to her? Okay, the latest theory, bullshit story, is that me and McToon are in on it. I don't know where that is coming from. Just because he planned to go meet me and surprise me in Saskatoon. Why would I want to communicate with McToon? Why would I want to do anything with McToon? Why? Everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start in order to tell a lie. I wouldn't even know how to do it. So that is a bullshit story. For those of you who do not know the facts, I guess you just got to go with random shit, right? Again, I don't know where you're going with your life, but hey, if you want to go with theories on bullshit stories on people that you've never met before, go right ahead, okay? Absolute bullshit, okay? And then even what McToon is saying, I recorded Mikey getting a ticket. No, he didn't. He recorded the police behind me, and the police were standing at my window. You don't know what happened after that. Remember, you don't know the full details of what the fuck your theories are. That's why we call them theories, or being dishonest, or lying. Oh, poor Mikey. Surprised by MC Toon there.
Now he's been on the internet actually meeting up with MC Toon. I've just been looking at him just then. I think he's got the cheekbones of a woman.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, MC Toon. I think he should. I think he should have arranged it. I mean, because he kind of. It was all right. That I suppose he wasn't. No, they weren't rude to each other, were they?
No. Most people aren't very confrontational when it comes to real life, and from what I've seen and from my own experience. Of course, we need a bit of Weiss in our show, so here he is getting a little pushback for a change from an actual physicist.
In today's episode, we'll be debating the age-old question: is the Earth flat, or is the Earth a spinning sphere orbiting the sun through space? On the Flat Earth side of the table, we have Dave Weiss, also known as Flat Earth Dave. Dave is one of the leading and most outspoken advocates of Flat Earth and runs the flatearthpodcast.com. He is featured in the 2023 film Level With Me and has made numerous appearances in news networks ranging from CNN to InfoWars, speaking on the topic of Flat Earth. And on the spherical side of the table, we have Dr. Justin Woods. Dr. Woods is a research fellow at Argonne National Laboratory, where he works jointly with the Superconductivity and Magnetism Group and the Synchrotron Studies of Materials Group. Dr. Woods studies thin film materials and multi-layered heterostructures, utilizing both X-ray spectroscopy and scanning probe microscopy. Dr. Woods holds a PhD in condensed matter physics from the University of Kentucky. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me here today.
No problem. Before we get started, one caveat. I'd like to state that I'm here solely in my personal capacity and not as an employee of the Department of Energy. So for this discussion, I will identify as a truth-oriented meat popsicle.
One thing that's converting a lot of people to Flat Earth is when they search Flat Earth, they get fed pure propaganda. In YouTube, like you could be searching,
But I don't think you meant what you just said. When people convert to Flat Earth, they're being fed pure propaganda.
No, that's what I said. That's not what I meant. When they're searching Flat Earth, they're fed propaganda.
I think you said it right the first time, just to be clear. But we'll go on.
When you search Flat Earth, you're fed propaganda. Like if you were searching for, underwater basket weaving, how to skin a crocodile, whatever, how to grow apples. You can look up in your YouTube history and find out, I watched that apple video a year ago. It's in my history. And just search, whatever you search, it'll search your history. You can watch a bunch of my videos, a bunch of Jeranism videos, a bunch of real Flat Earth videos, and then go search your history for Flat Earth. And none of those will show up, and propaganda videos will show up instead.
Oh man, so we've already started with the algorithm is hiding this from us talk.
No, I'm just throwing that out there. You can go look at that yourself and verify.
I won't. I'll tell you right now, I won't, because I don't believe a bit of that.
All right, well, then you're not going to believe. Don't believe anything I say. I tell people don't believe anything I say. Verify everything. So, do you know what the curvature is at 3 miles? The globe math of curvature.
The globe math of curvature at 3 miles. Not off the top of my head because I don't need those numbers. I'm not an astro guy.
It's 6 feet. All right, and at 10 miles, it's 66 feet.
Okay, cool.
Okay, and that's your math, not mine. And so
I guarantee you didn't do the math. That's math from physicists and astronomers. So go ahead, please.
All right, no need to insult me. Okay,
that was an insult. It's not.
Did you develop I see where it's coming from. I see where you're going.
You did not develop those theories. That's all I'm saying.
I never claimed to. I said I'm using your math, not mine. Okay, so at a 6 foot tall person, just so people understand, standing next to a perfectly calm body of water should not be able to see the surface of the water beyond 3 miles, because at that 3 miles, it's a 6 foot drop. So that would be the tangent of their view. Like you can't see my mouth because it's below the tangent of this ball.
Right. Again, issue of scale there. Ball's much smaller than the Earth. Much.
That ball's smaller than the Earth, really?
Yes, I'm just saying that.
Do you think I was actually showing?
No, I get it. I mean,
showing it to scale.
It was a joke. It was a joke. All right. But you're making an extreme example. And I
was showing you behind on a ball. There has to be a physical limitation of a horizon. Do you agree with that?
A physical limitation. I mean, there is a horizon. There is a horizon.
That horizon is physical. And anything beyond the horizon, below the horizon, cannot be seen.
The horizon is a physical point based on your point of observation.
So let's zoom in here. Today's consumer optics have made it so we can see farther. And as we look out here, we'll see that there's some dolphins beyond the limit of this, what we think is the horizon. And they're literally in the water. Go a little farther here. They're in the water beyond this line. Now, this is because our angle of attack is reflecting and seeing the sky, and that creates a false horizon. So these dolphins are far beyond this line that we think is a physical curve. but they're beyond it. So here's an example. These boats are hidden behind the curvature of the Earth, according to Globe, but in reality, they're just behind an artificial horizon, right? If you watch this boat, it's just going behind.
Well, it's going behind a wave.
It's going right, and so these little waves in the foreground. My finger can't hide my face, right? My finger can't hide my face, but if I brought it up here, it could hide everything. So a small wave in the foreground can hide a city in the background.
But it's not constant.
No, it's not hiding a city in the background.
I mean, like if it's a wave, it's like a temporary hiding.
Yeah, that's why you can see the boat coming back and coming back.
You physically can't see past a certain point, right? Past the horizon, independent of waves.
I still don't understand how this says the fact that everything smushes down as it gets farther makes it so that a flat Earth works. The only explanation for this is if the curvature of the Earth hides the thing you're looking at.
I don't understand what you're saying. No, it's hiding behind what I call an artificial horizon.
Okay, I don't think that's a thing. That's an optical. At best, it's a mirage that's playing tricks with the difference in densities of the air. But it's not an artificial horizon. That sounds like a term that sounds very official, but it's not a thing.
Here, you know what? Until I can find I'm trying to find the graphic that fully explains what I was going at. But can we talk about the sun setting over the ocean or over in the distance? The sun sets from the bottom up, and because it's kind of the same thing. Yeah. No.
Sure. Yeah, it's the curvature of the Earth. It's
the curvature of the Earth.
First of all, what do you think the sun is? I want to ask a question here.
I don't know what the sun is. I don't think it's a physical object.
You don't believe the sun's a physical object?
You can see. I mean, it emits. There's some light getting emitted. Right?
Have you ever had a sunburn, Dave?
There's energy coming from a point in the sky. If you take a magnifying glass and you focus it to a little point, like when you used to burn ants, if you lift that up a foot off the ground, that point is still there in the air, right? It puts a little fog, a little smoke, a little spray. You'll see it. It'll be in the air. I think that the sun that we see is a focal point of energy coming from a source above the firmament.
Okay.
Well,
okay, that's an interesting question. What is the firmament?
I don't know.
What is it made out of?
I don't know. I can't touch it. You can read biblical stuff that says, it's made of glass or whatever. Some people think it's made of ice. I don't know. I can't touch it. So I don't know.
You're saying that from your perspective, the sun is breaching the source of light is coming outside of the firmament?
I think he's trying, and correct me if I'm misstating this, Dave. I believe he's saying that the sun that we see is a focal point of, I guess, the firmament focusing outside energies into the dome.
I don't know. That's just my theory. I'm not going to go there because I have no proof of it, right?
But
I have no proof of it.
Okay, but I've seen some of your videos where you talk about how I believe you said this in this movie. John mentioned Level With Me, that they would fire missiles up at the firmament. You could see them, scrape the firmament and then explode. Nobody thought.
I did not say that. I said there has been videos where you do see it looks like something skimming across water in the sky. Again,
that's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if that's happening, why can't we describe the firmament to me? Why can't you describe the firmament to me?
I think that I was speaking with a NASA whistleblower, and he said that at 72 miles up, that there becomes like a thicker plasma, then it becomes water, then it becomes solid, and that's what he said. And he said that NASA has the ability, to go up there and explore, but they're forbidden, and that's all he would tell me. Forbidden by who? I don't know.
He's just so full of shit, isn't he? It's good to see him getting a bit of pushback for once, though.
That's the whistleblower.
Hello. Yeah. You can always just throw in a magical NASA whistleblower to back up your argument, can't you?
Yeah, he thinks that the light comes from somewhere. He doesn't know what that is. It
Right.
gets focused by the firmament, doesn't know where that is or what that is, but he assumes it's some sort of focal mechanism. It's focused somewhere else. It's focused somewhere else, which is but what then focuses it when it gets here, or how does that work? Because if I use a magnifying glass and I burn ants, the ant 3 inches away is completely unfucking affected.
Right.
So I mean, how is the light in the sky a focal of heat? And then if that's the case, why is it'd be hot there, but it won't be hot here, will it? How does that
Doesn't
work?
make any sense, does it? Just blabber.
Well, I want to believe it.
Ill-conceived blabber.
I didn't know he was a sun outside the domer. I thought most flat earthers were a sun inside the dome. But apparently now the sun is outside the dome.
Well, I think they've had to be, haven't they, since Joe Hanvey and his model and the whole,
so they
TFE
changed to
and
outside
what have
the
you.
dome.
They moved away quickly from the half the sun completely hidden, and you're unable to zoom up on it aspect of it, really.
But I thought that guy was quite good because at least he'd watched some of his videos and he didn't just go into this thinking, all I need to do is say my facts and the guy will be destroyed. He'd heard what Weiss had said, when he says other things that are convenient to him, and was able to hold him to account a little bit. So I thought that was.
I was thinking the same thing, Jim. Going, this guy's going to be bad because maybe he's just going to go out and say, well, the facts are this, and he is not used to the bullshit factor.
Right, but he had done a
Also,
little bit of research at least.
I also like that he brought up the sunburn question. I like to ask them that a lot, and it's like what is a non-physical thing, by the way? But what non-physical thing are we aware of that can actually burn us?
Right.
Like,
I always think
go
that's
stand
a good
outside on the
question.
sidewalk for a half hour. I'm in North Florida. Like, you'll know real quick that the sun's a physical.
All right, then, it's blood boilers all the way down now. First, breaking news. A Flat Earth book has been published. Yes, the wait is over, and Nat's book is here. And by Nat, I of course mean Natasha Mauerman, author of Inside an Open Hand, Essays from a Flat Earth. Here she is talking to Sergeant and Curious.
And so what was the premise of this project?
I really just wanted to research the kind of revival of the flat earth movement because I was so interested in it from behind the curve, and I had been kind of keeping track ever since. And at first I just wanted to kind of do like a historical narrative and just kind of cover what the evolution of it. And the more I got into it, the more I was like, I'm too invested personally to like just have this be some kind of like distanced study. And so I ended up really wanting to kind of make the argument that like the level of vitriol that flat earthers experience is so completely and utterly unacceptable, and not the way that we should all be living in the world together. And so I think the bulk of the essays are about that in different ways, say that in different ways.
And that's just so interesting coming from the globe side, right? So do you realize that you stand out a little bit in that way?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird to talk to other people about it because when I talk to I mean, I don't have any like flat earthers in my life other than you guys. And so it's difficult to explain to people because they have such a knee-jerk dismissive reaction. And there are a lot of people who I have like kind of compelled along the way to like come join me in a better way of seeing things. But I still get a lot of like very dismissive and rude reactions and people judging me for the way I see it. And it's hard. It's like a very small taste of what I'm sure you guys experience all the time.
It is interesting. I mean, I remember life before I kind of saw the earth through this lens. And so once you make the switch though, and you start to tell your friends and your family, it's like you're up against so much just confusion really. And everyone has a different reaction. But I think for you, I'm just trying to understand was it your curiosity or what makes you so, interested, do you think, in this topic? Just tell us about yourself that way.
Yeah, it's the people for sure, because I don't know, I've never been a very sciencey person or just kind of like physical anyway. Like I think the earth could be any shape and I wouldn't mind. But what I found really interesting about this movement was the level of commitment that people dedicated to it and the way that they bonded with one another in the face of such like anger and hatred from another side, and what you guys have been able to create out of having that. And I think that that is pretty unique, and but also kind of like representative of a larger thing going on in the world. So I think it was interesting that way. Community building. How do we make that?
I love that. And so, Tom, you were encouraging her at this point from the get-go, saying, "Yeah, go with it. See what you find." Was that kind of walk us through your process for her?
I mean, I had worked with Natasha a fair amount when the project began, so I had complete faith in her from the beginning, and I knew that she was originally was conceptualizing it as a historical project, and very quickly I went along with her impulse, which was to not follow through on the historical angle and to just take an immersive approach to understanding the community and looking at the ways in which the responses that she was just describing, like the level of the sort of vitriolic rejection of flat Earth and belief in flat Earth, like that, those baseline responses are the things that we see in classrooms all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they're not directed at flat Earth, this sort of commitment to one particular way of seeing things at the cost of ignoring so many other things in the world. And it's a problematic way of coexisting.
Did the concept of flat Earth change as you learned about it is really my question.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because I mean, honestly, talking to you is what changed my perspective on what flat Earth was the most. Like the conversations that we had about faith, and like when I can't remember the exact quote, but you said to me something like flat Earth isn't like, that's almost like a derogatory term. Like it isn't about the Earth, the shape of the Earth. It's about where it is in the universe and why that's important. And I think that like nobody knows that. I think that that is something that is not represented in the way people talk about flat Earth at all. And I find that to be just the most important part and like representative to me of how I've engaged with the community and the way that they treat each other. And so that is kind of the thing that I try to bring in first if I get the chance, if people will let me.
Well, and that's like a little beacon of light, right? Because that's why when I watch Behind the Curve, I'm like, oh yeah, these guys seem cool enough. Like Mark's a lovable idiot in my mind at the time. Sorry. Now I know you're opposite. I'm just completely shocked. But at the time, it was definitely, their editing was really not in favor of anyone in flat Earth looking reasonable or intelligent or any kind of it just made it comes off like these people haven't done any real research. They just believe it because they're being that contrarian to the norms, and maybe that's their way of standing out. And it's like, okay, we can't hate on these people. They're just got to be crazy in the sense of like, okay, just denying everything, or is it just more of a statement, right? But then when you dig into flat Earth, like, oh my gosh, this is like a paradigm shift in a way that has never been presented. So I would imagine that adds to the mystery. Is that what happened for you?
Yeah. I guess it kind of added to the mystery, but it also made things a lot more clear to me where people come from when they get into flat Earth and like the level of commitment that they have. Because I have talked to people who are like very committed to this angle of like all flat earthers are trolling or like faking it in some way or are crazy, and that never sat quite right with me. I was like, that can't be right, because there's so many and they're all so nice and normal. Like it can't all be
most of us
some kind of lie. Right, yeah. That to people it just feels like such a given fact that you learn. That's the first thing you learn basically. And so like I think that it's, for some people it feels upsetting because they think that if we have disagreements about something like that, about a truth that we find to be like just a concrete understanding of the universe, then like how are we ever going to come to an agreement on anything? Like what hope is there for unity if we can't even agree on what the shape of the Earth is? But my hope is that we can kind of do the reverse of like it's great that we all think that the earth is different shapes. We should all have different thoughts on everything all the time and share them with each other. And that is what will like make the world go forward, I hope.
I mean, it raises the question I would have for you guys. Like, Natasha, you mentioned the desire to reach an agreement, and the difficulty of that, or the impossibility of that for a lot of people. When you guys are met with resistance or pushback, do you ever get the sense that people are interested in agreement, or that there's any, like, is agreement even a factor? Are they invested in actually making any sort of positive connection at all?
Yeah. Oh, that's a tough question. Most of the time, they go through the 5 stages of acceptance. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, then finally acceptance. Denial and anger with flat Earth, they hold on to those quite firmly for a while, which I've said on numerous occasions is the most unsatisfying part of our community, which is we want to see that agreement you're talking about. We want to see it happen. We want to see the light go on in their head, but it's not going to happen that way. All you have to do is plant the seed and let them come to it in their own, because they're not going to forget it. They're going to go home and they're going to have to work through it on their own, again, like a marble in a paint can. And hopefully, you'll get to see the fruits of that later. That, and the only other part, which it bugs me to no end, is I rarely, if ever, get an apology from someone that'll come at me hard.
As you wrapped up your project, what do you think Flat Earth represents now that you've done this project? Like, what does it mean? It doesn't have to mean for you, because obviously we're not asking the elephant in the room, like, did you become a flat earther? Because I'm not going to put you on the spot, but do you find that the mystery continues, and that are you walking that line of I'm keeping an eye out and I'll make my mind up at some point, or where are you at in this journey? What did it do to you?
I think I'm always looking for ways to make flat Earth happen more. And I don't even mean flat Earth when I say that, but I guess I mean like the level of openness and the level of like strength in community and commitment, and like ways of bridging gaps. That's what it means to me. And I think that is always something that I'm going to look out for and try to make happen now, regardless of what it is.
Well, Natasha, your research was pitiful. Nice and normal people, strong community. What the fuck is she talking about? They're horrible to each other.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
The greatest, Jeb.
I don't know how much time she spent in the rooms. I've never come across her. I don't know. Have you?
No, basically, she watched Behind the Curve. She went and met Mark Sargent.
Yeah.
And then she went to some truth convention and spoke to a load of people there.
Yeah.
So but she knew about the final experiment. She'd followed that. And they tore each other apart over that. So I don't know what. I don't know. She seems to be in some
Come on, Jen. We're
dream world.
supposed to all get around the campfire and sing Kumbaya. Come on.
I know. It was just, it really made me cross hearing her say all that stuff. And that thing about, I think we should all have different ideas about the shape of the Earth. Oh, yeah, let's just abandon established facts, shall we? We can all just, we can all have our own version of reality.
Yeah, she wanted everybody's own version of reality for everything, not just the shape of the Earth. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I was on his show probably 3 weeks ago, I think, and supposedly he's got another documentary coming out. He won't go into it, and I sort of tried to pry it out of him, but he said it's better than Behind the Curve, and it's like more mainstream, a lot of money backing it, this, that, and the other. So he's pretty excited about it. And I think he's trying to promote it on his show every week, but I haven't been back since.
I have heard him mention something about that.
Yeah, but I think like I was trying to get on their good graces when I went on too, and I was just asking questions that I knew the answers were like going to make them look back. For example, I asked Sargent what he thought about about Dave Weiss like not accepting the free trip to Antarctica, even though I know Sargent was extended the free trip as well. But I just wanted to hear him answer for someone else, and he was like, "Oh no, he should not have gone. He made the right answer. He made the right decision." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like, there's not really any way to. I was trying to set it up for like the next time that I get on, so I can ask harder questions, because everyone in the chat, a lot of their people that are on their chat week to week are in a lot of other chats that like I'm banned in now, like just because I'm a glober, right? So like they were telling DJ Curious throughout the because this was on DJ Curious's after show, that he like lets people ask questions, as far as I understand it. Like I got invited to it. It was the first time I had done that. But anyways, yeah, the people in the chat were aware of me, and they were telling like DJ Curious that I'm like a known shill and like I'm a troll and this and that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna play this straightforward. I'm not gonna like yell at them or like ask them to explain something completely unexplainable. I'll just ask them in the form of a question politely and just let them answer. And then like when I come back, maybe they'll be like, "Oh, this guy again, cool," and that way I can jump in. So I don't know if that's what she was doing. I think she was probably more just I don't know. I don't know if she's on the fence or not. I couldn't gather that from the clip. I wasn't watching it all that much.
She said she didn't have much of a sort of science education. I think she's probably been taken in by some of the bullshit.
Yeah, well.
All right then. Rather ironically, it's a flat Earth experiment next, conducted by me. I can honestly say I had no idea of the result of this when I started, and it did surprise me. So I'd like to see if you guys can make better predictions than I did. This week, lying cunt Nathan Oakley paid us a visit. And of course, I lost my temper with the scumbag and muted the crap out of him. As we all know, Oakley's live stream setup allows him to mute the entire server he is in whilst keeping his own active. So now I want you all to formulate a hypothesis. During a 7-minute segment of the show, which of us muted the most? Type G for Gem or C for lying cunt Oakley. Anyone want to have a go? And by the way, while we're at this juncture, please feel free to super chat the show or send me a PayPal or something like that. It did take me 30-40 hours to put it together, and if you're enjoying it, a few quid would be very much appreciated. Nobody's typed anything. All right then, let's take a look. First, my output.
Why are you measuring a horizontal plane rather than a globe?
I did not actually measure a horizontal plane. All of the measurements I took were relative to the vertical. But you weren't there, you don't know.
Okay, so you're saying that all of the measurements are with respect to the vertical. What about azimuth?
Azimuth is a horizontal measurement. You're right, but
So you're a liar.
the horizontal. If you're going to assert that the plane that I use there is coincident with the ground, you're going to have the burden of proof.
Can you help me, Jem? I'm just going to point out where he lied. Quote McToon. Quote McToon. All measurements were with respect to the vertical. What about azimuth? That's with respect to the horizontal. So you lied.
Nathan, I was talking about elevation, the globe Earth elevation angles I was taking, not the other topic of the globe Earth azimuth angles. Separate topic.
Don't lie. That's a lie. Quote
Separate
you.
topic.
All measurements.
Separate topic, Nathan. Separate topic.
He's
Separate
lost.
topic.
He's lost.
Yeah, because I'm pointing out that you're lying about what I'm talking about, Nathan.
Let me play your soundboard to the top of me. Yeah, what he did was quotes say
I don't know if he's
all
lying. I
measurements
think he's just catastrophically dumb.
Yeah,
all
it was within the conversation of elevation.
No,
angles
not all
to the
measurements
globe.
with respect to the
Yeah.
vertical.
Nathan, we were talking about in relation to the
I had what you
globe
said,
Earth
all
elevation
measurements,
angles.
end quote.
The globe Earth elevation angles is what I was
He said
talking
all
about.
measurements, all you said.
All measurements in relation
You're
to
a
the
liar.
globe Earth
They
elevation
weren't
angles.
all with respect to the
All
vertical.
measurements in relation to the globe Earth elevation angles.
No, you lied. You said all
No,
measurements.
it was
That's a lie.
in reference to the globe Earth elevation angles. Different topic.
There are no globe Earth elevation angles. Elevation
I
is
only
two
took
direct
globe Earth
lines
elevation
meeting at a vertex for it to be called an angle.
The only thing I took was globe Earth elevation angles.
No, you didn't. You took azimuth from the horizontal plane.
I only took
Globe
Earth elevation angles.
You took a horizontal measurement for azimuth.
So the horizontal measurements, now you're going to have to.
Sorry, weren't they all with respect to the
Again,
vertical?
once again,
All of them.
Proposition 18 there, the
All of
azimuth
them
plane that
was
I was using is part of the line CG.
A minute ago, all measurements were with respect to the
Yeah,
vertical.
Nathan, why do you have to intentionally
lie about it all being
Why are you
vertical?
intentionally strawmanning me? Is that because you don't have any evidence to support your claim?
All measurements
So
were
you're
taken with respect
strawmanning
to
me
the
on
vertical.
purpose.
End quote you.
On purpose, strawmanning me.
It's not strong, man.
Of
I'm
course,
quoting you verbatim.
you
Well,
can't
it is
actually
because he's now clarifying what he meant, and you're just
all measurements are with
I'm
respect to the
talking, dickhead. He's now clarified what he meant, and you're just refusing to accept the clarification. This is just willful ignorance on display. It's ridiculous.
So we're going to clarify that when he said all of them, he was lying, because not.
No, that wouldn't be. That's you not understanding what he said, or possibly him not expressing what he meant correctly. But it doesn't make it a lie. That's just you being silly. He's now clarified it. You can now move on.
Is it a lie?
No, it's not. As I just said, no, it's not a lie.
Yeah, get back in your box, Panda. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, all measurements aren't with respect to the vertical. Earth can measure flat for azimuth.
That's an assertion that disagrees with
I don't even know
Proposition 18.
You know, like it's not helping them.
Wait, what? John, you're supposed to go to drink some more, okay?
Battery, you just lied about all measurements being with respect to the vertical when you assume a ball
You're
dangling
set
below a
straight there,
back.
Nathan. You're just set straight there, Nathan.
About all measurements being with respect to the vertical, end quote you liar.
Yeah, Nathan.
That guy's not Nathan Oakley, is he? Did he change his voice?
Just
ridiculous. Liar, you said all measurements with respect to the vertical. You're a liar, Toon.
Nathan, I was clarifying. Jim Panda made it clear that I was clarifying, and you still can't accept that? You've got a problem.
You lied about the all measurements thing.
It's
Yeah,
just
you've got a
the Earth's
problem
flat
there.
if you remain willfully ignorant. If you
Willfully,
find ways to
I'm
be
quoting him
ignorant,
verbatim.
you can
All
make
measurements were made with respect to the vertical, end quote
Shut
two.
up, dickhead.
So is the moderator going to mute me when I point out Toon's
Oh,
lies?
he's crying now. He's crying
Pointing out
now.
Toon's lies.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will, like I did before, because as we've already pointed out, this is not a lie. This is just you being a retard. He explained to you his clarification of how you have misunderstood what he said, which isn't surprising because you are quite thick. And he's clarified it. Now, as adults, you can accept his clarification and you can go with what he's now clarified his meaning to be, and you can continue the conversation. Or you can continue to act like a child and remain
Toon is a proven liar, and he's
Oh, shut up, you idiot. Just shut up.
mute with the help of a spurging server operator.
Nobody's spurging apart from you. You're the spurger here. You're the one who can't shut the fuck up. Stupid wanker.
That's what's just happening.
Cunt.
Nathan, you are like solid Spurg. I mean,
Are you
that's
just
like your
muted me,
composition right
pointing out that Toon's all measurements was a lie?
Yeah.
Is this it now? Is the show over?
I want to just
It's just going to be you chanting this catchphrase for the rest of the day, is it? Well, if this is it, just fuck off. We've heard you say your stupid shit. Now fuck off.
When Toon gets caught lying, I'd suggest that you just start swearing at me and muting me. I mean, that'll be a win.
How about I carefully explain to you where the problem is and appeal to your adult nature to move on, which is what I fucking did, isn't it? And what you did was act like a fucking child and not move on and pretend that you just can't understand the new words that are being said to you, like a thick cunt.
Being with respect to the vertical, end quote, lying bastard Toon.
Just go, Nathan. There's no point. If you're just going to say the same sentence over and over
All
again,
measurements are with
fuck off. We don't need you. We don't need a repetitive twat chanting catchphrases over and over again.
Pillow and shoving his lies up his ass. Oh, do you not like that?
Come on. Yeah, we don't need anyone leaving.
At all measurements with respect to the vertical, he lied.
We aren't going to be able to be doing this. He can't.
Oh, you can mute me. Just mute me for the 10th time since I've
Yeah,
been
we'll do. But let's make it 11. Oh, look.
Muting me.
Now it's fucking 12, you
Go
stupid
against
cunt.
Nathan again.
Move on, or I'm just going to leave you muted, wanker. Move on.
All right.
This is the
Well, I did get quite cross with him, didn't I?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I liked how you continued to overstate the amount of times he was server muted when he would say like, that's the 18th time. You're like, no, that's the 24th time.
Right.
Yeah. Kept that up. That was good.
Yeah, I did say that a lot of times. All right, now, sadly, in the name of science, and science experiments, of course, have to be repeatable, we now have to hear the lying cunt Oakley's version of the same thing. It's for the advancement of science, guys, so don't moan, and of course, you won't enjoy.
Why are you measuring a horizontal plane rather than a globe?
I did not actually measure a horizontal plane. All of the measurements I took were relative to the vertical. But you weren't there, you don't know.
Okay, so you're saying that all of the measurements are with respect to the vertical. What about azimuth?
Azimuth is a horizontal measurement. You're right.
So you're a liar. So you lied.
The horizontal.
So you're a liar.
If you're going to assert that the plane that I used there is coincident
I'm asserting
with the
you're a
ground,
liar. You're just chanting through me. Jem, can you help me, Jem? Can you help me, Jem? I'm just going to point out where he lied. Quote McToon. Quote McToon. All measurements were with respect to the vertical. What about azimuth? That's with respect to the horizontal. So you lied.
So Nathan, I was talking about elevation, the globe Earth elevation angles I was taking, not the other topic of the globe Earth azimuth angles.
Don't
Separate
lie.
topic.
You don't have to lie. Quote you.
Separate topic.
All measurements. All
separate topic. Nathan.
He's just chanting
Separate
through me
topic.
because he's lost so
Separate
badly.
topic.
He's lost badly. I'm pointing out his lies and he's just chanting
about
through
what
me.
I'm talking
Maybe
about,
play your
Nathan.
soundboard
That's why
through
I'm
the top
doing
of me. Yeah. What he did was quote say all measurements were with respect to the vertical. All measurements. End quote him. No, not all measurements with respect to the vertical. He's just a liar.
Nathan, we were talking about in relation.
I heard what you said. All measurements. End quote.
The globe Earth elevation angle.
No, you said all measurements. All, you said.
Yeah. All measurements.
Yeah, you're a liar. They weren't all with respect to the vertical azimuth.
In relation to the globe Earth.
No, you lied. You said all measurements with respect to the vertical. That's a lie.
It's in reference to the globe Earth elevation angles.
No, there are no globe Earth elevation angles. Elevation is two straight lines meeting at a vertex for it to be called an angle.
The only thing I took was globe Earth elevation angles.
No, you didn't. You took azimuth from the horizontal plane.
I only...
Stuttery! I definitely took a horizontal measurement for azimuth.
So the horizontal measurements, now you're going to have...
sorry, weren't they all with respect to the vertical a minute ago? All of them?
Opposition 18 there...
I thought all of them were with respect to the vertical.
...is part of the line CG.
A minute ago, all measurements were with respect to the vertical, end quote you.
Why do you have to...
Why'd you have to lie about it all being vertical?
You're intentionally strawmanning me.
I'm not strawmanning you. Quote, all measurements were taken with respect to the vertical, end quote you.
On purpose, strawmanning me.
It's not strawman, I'm quoting you verbatim.
You can't actually...
Because he's now clarifying what he meant.
What, when he said all measurements are with respect to the vertical, he didn't mean all.
He's now clarified.
Spurg out for me, Jem, while you defend this little bitch liar.
The clarification.
Well, the clarification that it's not, quote, all of them then.
Ridiculous.
So we're going to clarify that when he said all of them, he was lying, because not all of them.
No, that wouldn't be. That's you not understanding.
Oh, when someone says all measurements, it's me not understanding what the word all means.
Correctly. But it doesn't make it a lie.
Yeah, it does. If you say all measurements are with respect to the vertical and they're not all with respect to the vertical, that makes it a lie.
Where's Toon gone? Where's
No,
Toon?
it's not that. No.
Yeah, we've got the moderator defending this little bitch for his lie.
Yeah, get back in your box, Panda. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, all measurements aren't with respect to the vertical. Earth's been measured flat for azimuth.
That's an assertion
With respect
that
to the
disagrees
horizontal,
with
so I don't even know
Book 3,
what they're
Proposition
thinking they're doing
18.
with that. You know, like it's not helping them.
Wait, what? John, you're supposed to go to drink some more. Go.
Stuttery, you just lied about all measurements being with respect to the vertical when you assume a ball dangling below a plane.
Nathan, you just set straight, Nathan.
Sorry, about all measurements being with respect to the vertical, end quote you liar.
Yeah, Nathan.
That guy's not Nathan Oakley, is he? Did he change his voice?
Right, liar. You said all measurements with respect to the vertical. You're a liar, Toon.
Nathan, I was...
Say my name, Stuttery.
Made it clear that I was clarifying, and you still can't accept that?
What, that you lied about the all measurements thing?
It's just pure flat if you remain willfully ignorant.
So, willfully ignorant, I'm quoting in verbatim. All measurements were made with respect to the vertical, end quote 2.
Shut up, dickhead.
So is the moderator going to mute me when I point out Toon's lies? Mute me for pointing out Toon's lies.
Yes, I will.
You will? I want to hear all about in the comments how Nathan's got a mute button. When Toon gets caught lying, I get threatened with the mute button. And what do you know? I'm on mute. Why, ladies and gentlemen? Well, because Toon's lied through his back teeth. I've called him out on his lie immediately, and it's my fault. I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, you can claim that I don't understand what all measurements actually means. Oh, it's obviously my misunderstanding. No. Toon is a proven liar, and his only tactic to take the win is to put me on mute with the help of a spurging server operator. This is what neutrality is. When you get caught as a glober in a complete lie, you will shut down your opponent with a mute button. That's what this is. That's what's just happening.
Nathan, you are like solid Spurg.
Sorry, you just muted me for pointing out that Toon's all measurements was a lie.
Yeah, leave Toon to it. Under, shut the fuck up.
Do you want to just
get Toon back on? He measures angles.
Maybe censor the person pointing out the lie with a verbatim quote. Just mute that person, I would.
If this is it, just fuck off.
Bleat for me, Jem. When Toon gets caught lying, I'd suggest that you just start swearing at me and muting me. I mean, that'll be a win.
How about
you stutter at me, you little bitch?
To you where the problem is.
Oh, the problem is he lied. He said that all measurements were with respect to the vertical. Then I pointed out the flat Earth measurement of azimuth, and suddenly I got muted.
Like a fucking child. And
not a child. No, I'm a fully grown adult.
Understand the new words that are being said to you.
What, like all measurements being with respect to the vertical, end quote, lying bastard Toon?
Just go, Nathan. There's no point. If you're just going to say the same sentence.
What, all measurements are with respect to the vertical, end quote, lying bastard?
We don't need a repetitive twat.
Oh, do you not? Oh, do you not like me forcing Toon's head into a pillow and shoving his lies up his ass? Oh, do you not like that?
Come on.
Sorry, Toon lied. He said all measurements with respect to the vertical. He lied.
We aren't going to be able to keep doing this.
You can mute me. Just mute me for the 10th time since I've been here.
Yeah, we'll do.
Yeah, you will do, you little bitch. Yeah, while muting me, you're going to moan about how Nathan's got a mute button. Oh, hypocrisy, ladies and gentlemen. The minute you catch a baller lying, they mute you for it.
This is the neutral platform?
Yeah, neutral platform, much. What, when someone gets caught out lying?
It would be his underpants, but those are not
I'm
white.
trying to facilitate a conversation. You chanting the same thing 30 times isn't a conversation.
No, I mean, I can't help it if Toon's lying about all measurements. All measurements, end quote him, aren't from the vertical. He just lied about it. Now, if you don't like me pointing that out, maybe just let Toon address his lie.
It's fine for you to point it out. It's not fine for you to point it out 30 times in a row.
Oh, really? I'll do whatever I like, Jem. If I want to point it out over and over again, you can just shut me up. And there it is! I've been muted again, ladies and gentlemen. When Toon's lie isn't tolerated, what, I'm not allowed to repeat that he lied, I'm going to get muted. I mean, that's obviously one way to go if you're complete cowards and you want to defend Toon's lies. I mean, I've heard quite a few people spurging through the top of him, white knighting for him, trying to defend the fact.
So there it is. Icy Spin says, first time catching one live. Thanks for covering. Thank you for that super chat, Spin. Very much appreciated. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
So anyway, Oakley won the Battle of the Mutes. He had 32 and I had 10 over the same period of time. And he sat there moaning about how I muted him. What a fucking dishonest, deceitful twat.
I told you he'd win.
Yeah. Now, I think, after watching that, I'm so angered by that, I just think I should never let him in my server again. What do you guys think?
That's probably the right answer.
He is good for business, but I'm just helping him to lie, aren't I?
You are.
Just providing him with the mechanism for lying.
Yep. Yeah, I've never listened to his channel and probably never will. And now you just confirmed that was a good decision on my part.
Yeah.
Because my God.
Because it's that always. It's essentially him repeating himself over and over again for about 8 years now.
Is there anything that's good that comes out of it? Like, I think in the back of my mind, I'm like, it'd be nice if someone on his side was actually like, yeah, you know what? They're right. Why is he doing this? But like, that doesn't happen, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think obviously it's fun when there's sort of more on our side, I guess I would say on your server than something like Worldwide Debates or EA when it's mostly flat earthers, even though that can be fun too. They both have different dynamics, but yeah, you know, the platform is for him to lie, and he calls everything a neutral platform. And I think that's why Toon may have felt more comfortable talking to him on your server, because I mean, that's as close to neutral before like a debate, or at least for a discussion that you're going to get. Nobody's going to mute Oakley. Like, you're the only one that would even dare think of it in terms of the normal places that he goes on Discord. So
I'll think about it.
I don't know.
More. All right, that was my show. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming to watch it. Thank you to all the people here on the panel. I couldn't do it without you. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time at the usual time, which is 10 p.m. British summertime. And yeah, thank you very much for being here. Have a good evening.